Mhm. 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 Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. What does? Mhm.
What's up, everyone? How is everyone doing today? Welcome to the Demon Appreciation Podcast, episode 17. Today, I'm joined by my good friend Kuro from the Midnight Channel. Thank you for being here, dude. How are you today?
Hi, pretty good. How are you doing, man?
I am doing great too. Thanks to everyone who's here already. I really do appreciate you guys tuning in for a podcast tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a couple of interesting topics to talk about. You've seen the title, but there's going to be a bit more to it than that, actually. We're going to talk about various things, including PC Gamer Show, which is happening in June. This is why I wrote P3 Steam in the title. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about the Atlus Store, which is coming back too. We'll talk about all the rumors surrounding Persona and Xbox. We'll talk about E3 2021. And we'll also talk about Codename X, that Japanese game that looks pretty interesting, to say the least. So I'm sure we'll have a lot to say. Should be a ton of fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here, David.
Alrighty, so you guys in the chat, again, thanks for being here. I appreciate that. I just want to mention, I know I did a couple of news episodes talking about all that stuff in the last few weeks. You don't have to worry if you didn't watch anything when it comes to those news episodes. If you're not aware of all the subjects, I'm gonna do a small introductions before we deep dive into the topics. And I wanted to have Kira on because I want to have discussions about those news. You know how when I record a news episode, I'm on my webcam and I talk for 15 minutes. Well, now I want to talk with someone else and exchange on the information that we have, especially since there's a couple of rumors here. So this is what we're gonna do tonight. And I'm gonna go ahead and ask you: is there one subject that you would like us to start with?
We can actually start with the newest news, I guess, the Codex. I feel like we can, since it's the hottest topic going on right now, I think it will be a good one to start with.
Absolutely, sounds good. So I'll give a quick intro to everyone as promised. Codename X is a game that was announced and revealed to the world yesterday. Game revealed by a Chinese company named Perfect World Entertainment, or I think that's the publisher, if I'm not mistaken. If you've seen the trailer, it is okay. It is heavily inspired by Persona and Persona 5, more precisely, and I'm being generous here. It is a very, very, very similar in multiple ways. It is yet unclear what this is exactly, and I'm gonna explain why in a second. Basically, when you look at the trailer, first thing that hits is the similarities. The character designs, the music, the atmosphere, everything in that trailer smells and looks and sounds like Persona 5. What was your first thought when seeing that trailer yesterday, dude?
Yeah, oh. Well, the funny thing about it is I saw it like a little bit later when people had already kind of made some reactions to it. So I wasn't in the first wave of kind of like seeing it without any information. So when I saw it, I had already seen some information about it. So I guess it wasn't as bad as like some people. As soon as you see it, it instantly screams ripoff. I mean, we're talking about like major ripoff. There was this fighting app game a while ago. They ripped off Persona 4 Arena's style, and we're talking about like they literally took assets from the art style and then just erased it and rewrote stuff over it. So when I saw it, it instantly reminded me of that. I mean, like, we're talking about the music on the background is like literally like the Last Surprise but like remixed.
Yeah.
I don't know, like it's like the violins in the background with like the heavy rock music and everything. I'm like, oh my god, this is so much like Persona 5. uh,
Yep. I think for me the first thing that hits was the music. I really think it was like I was listening to it and I was like, oh my god, they even copied like well I was about to get in the meme, but obviously Persona 5 didn't invent jazz or anything, but it really had like this Persona 5 jazzy style of music in the trailer. It really sounded like my eyes closed, only hearing the music. I would have thought that was like a track from P5 that I just don't remember. It was extremely
right.
similar. And that's one thing
Yeah.
amongst all the other things. There's one thing that I'm sorry, I don't remember who pointed that out to me, but there's someone I think it was in our Discord server that pointed out that there's a female character and in the trailer and her eyes are basically the like Nijima eyes, like Makoto and Sai. Like they're identical, the same eyes. It's like, oh my god, it looks like they just copied
She's
the
wearing
models.
a mask and
Yeah.
everything like that. Yeah. So to people that haven't seen the trailer or they don't know about this Codex name, you should definitely check it out. Check a video out. I'm not sure if you can pull it up so people can see it.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah. So the thing about it is, the news kind of dropped without kind of any information. Like when I heard about it, I had information, but when the news dropped, it just kind of the first thing you imagine is like this is some Persona 5 ripoff kind of thing, and it's really hard to kind of separate. Once you had that thought, once you saw it, it's really hard to kind of separate what it is with what you saw. Not just like the character design, the animations, literally a lot of the assets are from Atlus. I don't know if you saw a lot of the assets that they were showing, but there's like some background buildings and some signs that are actually ripped from Persona 5 and everything.
Yeah.
But if you guys didn't know, I guess in this kind of like delivery, it does look like they are working with Atlus as far as like using those assets and everything. Although it sounds like
Yeah.
scummy as hell in like a weird kind of sense. in the at the end of the day, I'm kind of like I kind of feel better about it. In like the okay, they're paying Atlus and they're using those assets for particular purpose. This isn't unheard of. I mean, like if you seen like any Unreal game, like you see like a million Fortnite copies and everything, but
Oh
in
yeah.
fact, it's like the reason why so many people are able to pop games on Unreal so fast is because they pay. Sorry, they pay. What's the company that owns Unreal?
That made this one.
No. On Unreal Engine, the
Oh, it's Epic. Epic. Oh, Epic is the name of the. I don't have their complete official name, but it's Epic, the company that owns
oh
Fortnite.
yeah, Epic. Yeah.
Epic Games, I
So
think.
Epic sells those sells those assets, so you can use them to create games on the engine easy. So
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure something similarly is going on here.
Possibly.
Although yeah, so although it's not necessarily a ripoff, it's definitely a clone.
Yeah,
Atlus is known to publish clones of Persona. There's a bunch of them that they published on the PS Vita.
yeah.
I think there's one in the top of my head that I can't remember. Man, I can't really remember the name of it. But they have published multiple Persona clones. They didn't make them; they just published them, including the recent one that we were talking about. Jesus Christ, I'm like I have the names. Caligula effect,
Yeah.
which is also kind of like a Persona clone in some senses, and it's like a completely different subject. But they also did publish that, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that Atlas saw the money and they were like, "Sure, use the assets you're paying."
Yeah, I mean the one thing about that, it's interesting you brought that up soon. I like it. Basically, I don't know if you saw that, but there's multiple mentions of Persona and Persona 5 in the coding of the
Oh
site
yeah,
for the
yeah.
game. So that really leads me to believe that yeah, maybe they paid to use some of the content from Persona, like logos and certain models and stuff like that. Because
Right.
and another thing that someone pointed out, and I just remembered because of the trailer, the um in the back of the what seems to be the protagonist of this game, he has like some type of cape or coat that's floating in the air,
Mhm.
and there's a logo on that coat. And I had no clue. I'm not familiar with Watch Dogs, but it seems like this logo is basically the Acker's logo in Watch Dog.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
interesting.
So that's really random.
It
That's
does have that hacking
yeah.
aesthetic too. I think during the trailer they literally say hacking in like big white letters, which by the way is a really terrible trailer. If you want to like talk about the trailer itself, you there's nothing that really leaves you to know what the game is about. Like you know, there's a lot of CGI trailers, so there's like story and everything, or like they show you snippets of what the game is about. But this game, all it does, it shows parts of Shibuya. The main characters just jump off a building. There's some hacking involved, and then it just kind of goes into like movement of the bill of the Shibuya area, but there's nothing really showing of like what this actually is. I've seen people talking about this being like a spin-off or like we mentioned, like a rip-off game, like a clone. That's kind of like I'm gonna just say this straight up. This is in no way a Persona spin-off.
Oh
If
yeah,
it
no.
was, Atlas would have announced this. They would have shared the video. They would have done some kind of event.
Of course.
This is not Persona. This is Persona related, but this is not a Persona spin-off per se.
It would have
When
been
it's a
shared.
Persona,
It would have been
yeah,
shared because it's Persona. It's not Megaton.
right. That's the biggest thing for me is when people keep saying this is gonna be a Persona spin-off. It's not because they know Persona 5 sells. Every time they're doing some kind of collaboration, and there's Joker. There's like 27 collaborations so
Yeah,
far with Joker on
with
it.
freaking Joker.
Uh, so and every time they're really sure to let you know this is a collaboration project. This is a Persona spin-off. They know Persona, particularly Joker as a figure, sells. I mean, the fact that he was in Super Smash Bros. Shows that he's recognizable enough as a brand. So
Mm-hmm. One
if
hundred
Atlus
percent.
was involved in a sense of a spin-off Persona game, they would have definitely used Atlas. I'm sorry, not Atlas.
Joker.
Joker space somewhere
Yeah,
in there. If that was the case, they would have definitely put Joker all over the place because he would have.
100%.
There, people is instantly recognize it, and they would have used that way. I'm sure this is just kind of like one of those flip asset mobile games that they use. They already have the assets from Atlas, so they're like, all right, we can probably make a quick buck out of this one. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, my big idea out of this one is I feel like they licensed some of Persona in to this Chinese company. I think that's what they did. Like, it's not official for all the reasons that you mentioned. It's not a spin-off. It's I mean, if they license some of this stuff, it's not even a rip-off. It's, I'll use the word that you used. It's a clone, basically, but a very similar clone. Like, it's not, you know how sometimes people say Trails of Cold Steel is a Persona clone. It's not a clone. It has similar elements, but it's definitely not a clone. Now, this game I would feel more comfortable calling a clone, per se.
Yeah. I think that's the whole uh in like an intention level. There are some games, I guess, that you could say like they incidentally have some of the same aesthetics of aspects, but this is purposely made this way to aim for a specific audience. I mean, people, like you mentioned, as soon as you listen to the music and watch the trailer, you can definitely see like some of the similarities with Persona, and that's the whole intention behind it. I don't see it like kind of like a uh, it's definitely trying to do something with that. What it is,
Yeah.
actually, I really wish that will get us some information, because the trailer doesn't really show anything as far as like what this is gonna be about.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, I mean, we'll keep a close watch on this one, and we'll see where it heads in the future. I don't have much to say about it for now, but it looks interesting to say the least. With what you saw yesterday, will you play this one with only what you saw? Let's say it drops tomorrow. Would you play it?
Well, I have I got a sponsorship offer for a company that does like emulation for cell phone games. So if it does come out tomorrow, I may take the sponsorship just to so I can play this game and stream it or something like that. But for me, like if it was like if there's a bunch of games coming out and I'm like, oh man, I definitely want to play this out. Not particularly. It doesn't. I don't really play phone games. There's like it's already really hard for me to like play that Shin Megami Tensei DX2 gacha game. Like I really wanna play it, but like I picked it up like 3-4 times and I drop it. Like it bores me to death. I just cannot play them, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't play it. And again, this is Shin Megami Tensei we're talking about, which I
Oh
already
yeah.
hold an interest to, let alone some Persona clone. Like,
Good point. Good point.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Same thing for me with mobile. I don't know if we're dinosaurs and we don't want to accept that mobile gaming's getting big. I mean, for me, it's just I don't have any game that's appealing to me enough on mobile for me to enjoy them. But hey, anyways, we'll see where this one heads for sure. Now, I kind of want to mention before we move on to the next topic, if anyone in the chat has any questions related to the topic that we're talking about, feel free to ask them. We'll do our best to answer them as always. It's kind of hard for us to answer all of them, but we'll try to answer a few for sure. So go ahead and at me and answer your questions related to the subject, no problem. So what should we talk about next? I think we could talk about a bigger topic now that we started with Codename X, which, let's be honest, isn't that big. Let's say we talk about Persona 3 and PC Gamer Show, shall we?
Yeah.
Alright, so just before I give my quick introduction, if you guys are enjoying the podcast, drop a like, it helps a ton. And don't forget to check out Kuro's channel once we're done with the podcast. The link is down in the description below. Now, let's talk about this Persona 3 thingy. If you're not aware, last year, I know Kuro, you're aware, but for anyone listening, if you're not aware, last year in June, there was an event, a PC event called PC Gamer Show. And that event was also in June. Various different things were announced, but more interestingly for us, Persona 4 Golden was revealed during this event and was shadow dropped on Steam on the same day to, of course, massive success. Now, what I want to say is that PC Gamer Show is coming back in 2021. It's also in June. And we have reasons to believe that Persona 3 is going to be at the show. Now, the one thing that I want to bring up before we start the discussion, and there's multiple things that I'm sure we'll bring up, but the one thing that I want to talk about is, I don't know if you guys remember, but last June, before this event, 1 week, or I think it was 4 or 5 days before PC Gamer Show started last week, there was leaks and a lot of talks about Persona 4 Golden that would be heading to PC soon. That was like 4 or 5 days before it was officially confirmed and dropped. And there was also talks of Persona 3 coming to Steam at the same time. When those leaks were going around in the internet, they were always mentioning P3 and P4. Those were the two games that they were mentioning. You remember that, right?
Right, I remember it.
Alright, now my question for you is, where's Persona 3 on Steam? It's nowhere to be found.
Nowhere yet.
Nowhere yet. Now, in 2 months, I think we might get it. It's the same event. It worked for Atlus last year. P3 is very similar to P4 in multiple aspects. So, it is very likely. It is very likely to be revealed and shadow dropped on Steam in June. Can we agree on that one?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think I made a video like 3 months about this subject. Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. I think that this is the easiest game for them to just drop. Like you mentioned earlier, Persona 3 uses the same engine as Persona 4, obviously. So it won't take them harder to. I'm sorry, Persona 3 FES uses the same engine as Persona 4. So I don't see it why they wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, especially with the success of P4G on Steam. Like, it broke. I don't know if you. We all know the sales numbers. We know that it sold like over 500,000 copies on Steam very quickly. But we don't talk about the records that it broke on Steam as well. It broke the record for like concurrent players at the same time for a Japanese RPG on Steam. That's awesome. So Atlus, they saw those numbers. And the one thing that traumatized me is that it surprised them. It surprised them that that P4G was successful on Steam. That really shocks me. I'm like, yeah. Dude, you have like Atlus, you have one of the biggest Japanese RPG in the world in recent years with Persona. Persona 5 is as big as ever in the West for a Japanese RPG. And you're surprised that it's selling for $20 on Steam, which is like the biggest install base ever. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's crazy. I said this in a couple of podcasts, but I really feel like Atlus is like this dragon just sitting like in this month of gold, and they just refuse to do things with it. It's like we just want to sit on it. We don't want to do anything with it. Like so many games they could release. Like I don't know. Like if they shadow drop like every single game that they have on the PS3 and on the the PSP or PS Vita into like PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4, they'll just get some massive numbers, and they don't have to do much at that point. I mean, it's they just have. I guess they just have to convert them into whatever other. But if they just randomly just dropped all of those games, they will just get so much money out of it. But I don't know. It just baffles me some of the choices they do sometimes. So the fact that they were surprised on P4G, and I'm surprised that they're surprised.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now I do want to. We talked about why we think it's likely. I really want to bring up what we think is gonna be. How is Persona 3 going to be like on Steam? I want to talk about that. But before that, Thank you so much, Peter Parker, with the $2 super chat. I really do appreciate the support, bro. Thank you so much for that. Thanks to everyone who's here tonight as well. We have massive support tonight. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed the stream, by the way. Now, Peter Parker brings up something interesting, to say the least. He says, can't wait to max out Mitsuru's social link at 300 FPS for Persona 3. Mitsuru's the best P3 girl, by the way. I don't care about your toaster 100%. Lady or anything. It's Mitsuru. That's facts. Yeah, she is. Now, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the state of P3 once it releases on Steam. I
Oh
think
man.
I'm just gonna say how I think it's gonna release in, and then I want to
Yeah.
see if you think the same thing as me, or if you think something else is gonna happen. My bet is it's going to be P3 FES with the same aesthetic as P4G on Steam, but with the ability to control your whole party, just like in P3P. So that means, yes, I don't think we'll have the female protagonist in the game, and I don't think we'll have like just P3P on Steam. I think it's gonna be P3 FES with the ability to control your party. That's my bet. How does that
Yeah,
sound?
I actually agree with you on that. And before anybody raises his pitchforks or get upset, look, Atlas has shown that they're pretty lazy when it comes to doing ports. You know, we don't have one port as an example. We have multiple ports, including a remaster that they did for Nocturne. So I don't really think they're gonna do much of a change at all. If they wanted to do some, I see some crazy theories about like doing Persona 3 Fest with a female protagonist. That is 100% impossible. They're not going to remake a whole game
That's the thing.
because they have to do all those new scenes, rework them to work as in a FES style, and they are definitely not gonna release Persona 3 Portable because of the not only is the quality lower because it's a Persona it's a portable game, but also like I feel like more people will be upset if they don't get like the full version, if you want to say it.
Mm-hmm.
um Portable has always meant to be this compact, smaller version of the game, and I feel like more people will be more willing to play Fest if you have like the party control and everything. I frankly
Absolutely.
don't care whether it has party control or not. I played all the versions
Mm-hmm.
of it, but I know there's a lot of people that are really care about it, and for
Yeah.
them it's almost like a make or break situation where if the game is gonna not gonna have party control, they're not gonna want to play it.
Yeah.
And look, party control, whatever, whether it is good or not, I don't, again, I don't really care for that.
Yeah.
But
Even if they don't add it in officially, mods are gonna add
yeah,
it in. There's gonna
yeah,
be mods.
exactly.
So, but I
Yeah,
think they're
there's a
gonna add
bunch
it
of
in for
mods.
sure. If they added
Yeah,
skill
100%.
inheritance for Nocturne, they're gonna add party control for P3 FES on Steam for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. And they may even add like a easier uh version. What is that, like easy mode or whatever?
Oh, let's not
Uh,
talk about that here.
yeah. No, no, no.
The
I'm not
elitists are
saying that.
gonna start a war in the chat.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they made. You know, like that's kind of one of the
Oh
features
yeah,
they added on
for
Nocturne.
sure.
So
Yeah,
I wouldn't put past them. I'm not saying I do or not. Well, I don't care about that.
yeah, for sure.
Um,
Hey, just a quick pause here. Massive shout out to the homie himself, King Narukami 45, becoming a member of the channel, a samurai. Welcome to the gang, dude. Thank you so much for the support. I really
Hey,
appreciate it.
such easy samurai skill.
Let's go. And you know what, Narukami, just for you, dude, I'm gonna say something. Hashtag SMT5 2022. Just for that move. I know that's gonna make you smile, dude.
Woo!
And that's not gonna happen again. So I hope you enjoyed the moment. Thank you so much for that. And we also have Judas also becoming a member of the Samurai Gang. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it. You guys, the support means a lot. Thank you so much. It helps me to do what I do, and it helps me to spend more time on content creation as well, because you know the deal, right? You're also creating content. We would like to spend more time on like streaming and doing videos and stuff, but it's hard with a full-time job. And also whenever we have like you guys watching and tuning in for the video, that gives us a bit of revenue, and that allows us to like work more on the channel. So you guys becoming member, whether you pick up the biggest tier or the lowest tier, or if you're not even a member, if you just watch the content, it helps so much. So much. So thank you very much to both of you, man. It's awesome. I really appreciate that. Okay, now, yes, mods for P3 FES is going to be really cool. I don't want to start a whole P3 debate here, especially since I know that you're a big P3 fan, and I'm not. So we could have a whole podcast talking only about P3 for sure.
Oh yeah.
But honestly, if P3 would be re-released on Steam, I'd play it again. I was on the verge of replaying it last year.
Yeah.
A PC port would make me replay it for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. You know what? Like you said, the modding community is so good. Like they'll get things done. I'm super sure that they're gonna get something at the end of the day. I'm excited what that may entail too. You know, there's a lot of possibilities. The original Persona 3 Fest has a bunch of mods already, so I don't know if they will even be able to kind of transfer those over to the next one, which is different from Persona 4 Golden, because this is the first time that Golden even get close to kind of being on PC and everything. But Persona 3 Fest has been on PC, you know, quote unquote, with emulators for a long time, and there's already a bunch of modding support for that. So, if that's the case, I'm sure somebody will come up with some cool, interesting mods for that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, just before we go into another little topic that I wanted to talk about for Persona 3 more precisely, we have a $2 super chat from the man himself, Demi Crow. Thank you so much for your support, dude. I appreciate that a lot. And of course, he had to bring it up. Screw Persona 3 PC. What if they announce Jack Bros remake? you know, this man deserves his Jack Bros remake, don't you?
100%. He actually said that he was probably gonna work on a Jack Bros game
Yeah, I
himself.
saw that. I saw
So
that.
good luck if you end up doing that. Actually, I'm looking into doing some projects later on down the line. So good luck with that, dude. I wish you the best of the lucks in that project.
Yeah. But Todd has brought up something super interesting in the chat. He said, Trash Room, the game. And for those of you who don't know, let me explain the context behind this really quickly. Again, I'm not the biggest Persona 3 fan, but when I started my playthrough of Danganronpa, the first game, there's one room in there's one room in the place where you are, where it's like a green door and there's the logo of a trash can on it. And my first reaction when I saw it on stream was like, "Oh, what is that? The Persona 3 room?" So that's like a meme now on the channel. But I just want to stress that out. I don't hate P3, far from it. It's a good game. I just don't think it's as good as the other Persona games per se. But it's not a bad game. For example, I just want to bring up also another cool, interesting comment that we have here from Super Gamer Guy 64. And I want to have your take on this, kiddo. He asks, mods for
Yeah.
Persona 3 could have back the female protagonist if it's not there too. Now the thing, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It seems like a lot of work. Would they be able to add like the differences in social links? Is that something
It,
that modders can
this
do?
whole thing is it's more than just social links. Like the story changes, and I don't want to spoil, but there are some major changes in story wise because you play as a female protagonist. Uh, so, so it's not just like just changing the female sprite and maybe just changing the text. There's a bunch of changes. There is some social links that don't exist on the regular game. There's some exclusive social links. There's some exclusive against story parts. There are some elements that just don't exist in like a graphical form. Uh, but the thing is, Persona 3 Portable has still images. They don't have 3D models for certain things. Like they don't have 3D models for certain characters.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I
So it's,
thought.
it's it's not just adding a female protagonist and like swapping it over and then maybe just color palette switching stuff. There's like a bunch of other stuff that is only exclusive for the female side. And again, there's no models for them. And I don't know if people are gonna sit and just make models for them. I'm sure somebody's gonna sit and do it. People do it all the time, but the amount of work that it will take, I'll admire the person that works that hard to do that. But
Oh
so
yeah.
far, nobody has done it, and Persona 3 Fest and Portable has been out for like 10 years now. So I don't think anybody really cares enough to do it, and I don't think again Atlas is gonna put the work into doing it.
Facts. Oh no, Atlus. No, 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 no. They won't. They won't. Look at Nocturne HD. And but we have Mac in the server in the chat right now. Mac is actually a modder himself. He made a couple of cool mods for P4G. Like I know he made mods where you have like the samurai outfit from SMT4 for your characters, your party members in Persona 4 Golden. And so obviously he's aware of
Nice.
all the work that goes into that, and he says no, that's not something that they can do. It's a ton of scripting that they would have to do to add like the female protagonist in FES.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
Yeah,
too
like
much
I said,
work.
I see it like it's almost remaking a whole game. Nobody has the time, effort, or money for that.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we have a $5 super chat from a fellow Canadian, Brendan.
Woo!
Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate that. The comment is Elizabeth better be more difficult than Demi Fiend if they would port P3. Also, getting Orpheus Tellus gonna be painful. Lol. I mean, yeah, depends on how you want to replay it. If I replay P3, not gonna lie, I'm just gonna beat it. I'm just gonna beat the game, and that's gonna be it. I'm not gonna spend 200 hours like getting the whole compendium and all of that. It's nah, dude. It's
Nobody has time for that. Even as a fan, I don't ever do that. Like that's why I'm kind of on the debate. Like I finished Persona 3 Fast. The answer. I'm sorry. Not the answer. What's the other one?
portable.
Uh, no, Persona 3 Fest, the first part, what is it called? Is that the, no, it's not the answer. What is the journey? I'll play
Oh,
the journey and I won't play the answer. Like that's like I only played the answer one time and I'm not
it's
going through that
enough.
hell.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah.
enough.
Like, even as a fan and you guys know somebody that loves Persona 3, I'm not putting myself through it. Like I'll replay it again, but not the answer. I'm good.
Oh yeah. We also have an interesting point here from Heather in the chat. Thanks for bringing that up. Actually, sorry about the mic smash. She says I think the version that will be ported is Persona 3 Portable because it was leaked when Atlus was deciding to port to Steam. It was between P4G and P3P. I do remember, as we talked about, P3 and P4 being in the talks, but I don't remember them specifying portable.
No, they didn't. I remember. I clearly remember because somebody in the went and commented and asked the person that leaked it, and he said no clue. That was literally his answer.
Okay.
When he was asked whether he was FES or P3P, and he just said no clue.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Um, Persona 3. What else? I would kind of look forward, though. Speaking of mods, of all the music together. Like that's something that I think modders could probably do. Like add the music from Portable in FES on Steam. Like
Oh,
to have
100%.
all the
They can
music.
definitely do that. Yeah.
That would be sick because there's some fantastic music in Portable that's not in FES. So that would be awesome to see. Like all of it together, man. Yeah, I'd be super down for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me too.
for sure. Now, I want to talk about this really quickly. Persona 3 Remake. I have a lot to say about this, but I want to hear you first. Does Persona 3 need a remake? I know you talked about that before because I watch your stuff, but I want to hear your thoughts today on stream.
Well,
A remake, like
it,
a complete, like an
okay. So
FF7 style remake, like a big
yeah. Okay.
remake.
So I have two thoughts on this. One, I frankly don't think Persona 3 is ever gonna get a remake. Honestly, I
Same.
just don't think that Atlas is gonna put the money into it. It's too many moving parts. Do I think it deserves or needs a remake? I think it does because I think it can be better made. I think that there was a lot of trial and error in Persona 3. Persona 3 was kind of like the deviation from Persona 1 and 2 into kind of like a newer game. And you can tell there was a lot of ideas that didn't pan out right. The social links suck. Like I'll be in it. Like I'm a fan of the game, but I can tell you the social links suck.
Yeah.
The gameplay can be better. There's some bugs that never were ironed out. There's like a bunch of issues with the game itself,
Mm-hmm.
where I will say, yeah, it's probably if they were to make a remake of it, it will definitely make it a better game overall. It's probably more accessible for people that otherwise don't want to play it. The game didn't age well. Like there's a ton of jokes and a ton of things that just like
Yeah.
when you look at it now, like it's pretty fucking cringe. Like the,
Yeah.
like the way that they talk and some of it, they translated the game at least to a specific era. It didn't age well. Like if you play Persona 1 and 2,
Yep.
story wise, they aged pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
But Persona 3, for some reason, just didn't age as well.
Yep.
It's just there's some aspects, and I'm speaking from a fan. I don't hate the game. I love the game,
Yeah.
but I can recognize there's like some dialogue that is like really cringe. Like you read
Mm-hmm.
it, and I'm like, if you think Persona 5 or Persona 4 weeb games Persona 3 is like Ultimate Wave kind of thing.
Yeah.
It just feels like really anime kind of. It just doesn't. Something about the dialogue doesn't sit right. And if they could kind of rework all that, I'll be down for a remake. But frankly, if you were to ask me between any of the Persona games, which one I would like to see remade,
Oof.
Persona 2 will be my
Yes.
remake.
There was one good answer. One good answer. And I swear to God, if Atlus was in this stream, they would have screamed Persona 5. But we're not talking about that today. P2, yes, please. The
Yeah,
both
Persona 2
games.
needs yeah, like, I would
Oh
love to see
man.
like a full-on remake of those
Yes.
games. And it's not because I don't think they are like bad original
No, they're
games. I
not. Yeah.
obviously love them, but I feel like some of the people, especially some of the people that started playing Persona with Persona 5, going all the way back to Persona 1 and 2 can be jarring at times. And I
Yep.
don't mean graphical wise, I mean like gameplay wise. Like there's some elements of the gameplay that I'm not a fan of them.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's interesting that we talked about that because my point with P3 is exactly like yours. It's like, I don't think it's happening, and I don't want it. A lot of people are saying P3 should get a remake. To be honest, I don't want it because I think, again, P3 is not a bad game. I want to stress that out. But the issues that P3 has, they can't fix them with a remake. They cannot fix those issues with a remake, or it's just not going to be the same game. So I'm talking here
Yeah.
about like Tartarus and the fact that it drags on, the pacing issues in the game. They cannot fix that with a remake.
Well, the only way that they will do it is like you mentioned, a remake like Final Fantasy VII, the remake, which really actually reworks the story. They added new elements. They brought new characters. They extended some parts. You know, there's like so many things that Square Enix did with Final Fantasy VII, the remake, and I'm using quotations so you can't see. That really kind of like it really remade the game in like a different light. Like you reworked so much of the story elements. Like I don't think Atlas is willing to put that much work into doing something like that. Can the story be salvaged? Yeah, maybe, but there's so much work that they have to put into it. Like you said, the dungeoning, going through Tartarus, they'll have to remake the entirety of Tartarus.
Yeah,
And looking at how they make Mementos, I don't have confidence that they can do it right.
facts. Yep, exactly. It's that. Yeah, that's my thing, and I want to also bring up P2, like the duology, Persona 2. I don't. I If I had the choice, I won't. I don't want a remake. I don't really want a remake of Persona 2 either. But I think those games could benefit from remasters, both Innocent Sin and Eternal Punishment, because those games, unlike P3, I feel like they aged super well. And I'm replaying the games right now, and they're still as good, if not better, than what I remembered. Okay, so I feel like those games, you just do a little tweaks, you just make it more modern, and it would be awesome. While Persona 3, same thing, a little remaster could be cool. Not really necessary. I feel like they could just bring it back up on Steam, add the versions, add the elements from portable that people like in FES, release it that way, and it's gonna be awesome and it's gonna sell well. A remake is not necessary, and a remake won't fix the game. That's my opinion on it. So yeah. Now, thank you all so much for the massive support tonight. We really do appreciate that. Over 100 viewers right now. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. That's awesome. If you guys could drop a like if you enjoy what you're hearing, drop a like. We were a bit harsh on P3. That's probably the reason why we have 2 dislikes already. But that's okay. If you don't like what you're hearing, drop a dislike. I'm asking for likes, but if you don't like us, drop a dislike. Go ahead and do it. Liberty of expression.
I do want to say this. It's okay to criticize the game that you love.
Yeah.
Like I sometimes when I talk about Persona 5 or like any other Persona games and I say like something negative, people are like, oh, you know, they want to like defend the game. I'm like, no, you don't have to defend the game. You can love the game and still look at like some of the negative aspects. I mean, like, yeah, like you were talking about the pacing issues with Persona 3. I didn't argue back about it. I know that the game has pacing issues. It's a preference thing, but you can still look at a game and look at the negatives and the positive and say, this is what I like about the game, this is what I would like to improve about the game, and it's fine. You know, you can look at it that way.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, even the games that you love the most, there's issues in them. And I think it's important as a player and as a fan to be able to admit that there's issue with your favorite game. Like, I'm thinking right now, and I'm like, what are my favorite games? I'm like, okay, Ocarina of Time, Yakuza 0, SMT4, Devil Survivor, Persona 5. I love those games, all of them so much. Catherine. And I can give you issues with all those games, and I'm proud to be able to do that. I think it's important to be able to point out the issues. Same thing as like you as a person. If you're not able to tell the problem when you have like I don't have the what's the English word for that? Like when you have something, when there's something negative about you, when you have a negative traits in your personality, it's important that you're able to say it, to realize that you have negatives. You're not a perfect person. That's what I want to say here. It's the same thing for games. I think it's important to be able to criticize. Do it the right way, though. I hate when people say, "Oh, Persona 5's trash," and they can't explain why. It's just, it's like, oh, come on.
Right, yeah, yeah. I don't want to watch a 5-hour video either.
Oh man, let's not talk about that.
But if you can definitely digest a product of media, whatever it is, and you can see positive, negatives, something in between. I never shy away. There's no perfect game, like you said. You can definitely love a game. You can love whatever game. You know, like I'm playing this Yu-Gi-Oh game right now. The game blows. There's no voice acting. The game crashes a lot. It freezes a ton. And I already put like 15 hours into it. I'm enjoying the hell out of the Yu-Gi-Oh game, but it has a fucking ton of issues. And I'm still loving the hell out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so you can love a game, you can fall in love with it, and still see the flaws with it, and you can still see there is some stuff that I don't like about it, and that's fine.
Absolutely. I'm glad we can agree on that. If that's cool with you, I'd like to take a few minutes because I keep reading a ton of interesting questions in the chat, and we don't have the time to answer them. So, guys, ask all your questions right now. We'll answer them for a few minutes. Please keep them related to the subjects that we have on this video because it's going to be easy to, change the subject. I'm going to go open my light, okay? 1 second. It was getting super dark in here. All right. Now, I know we'll have some interesting questions. Honestly, I keep skipping over them right now. So, all of your questions, guys, let's hear them. We're listening to Persona 2 music right now in the background, though. Good beats. Alrighty, boys. Let's hear him. Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2 HD remastered, they seem super likely. Nocturne sold very well in Japan, and it's gonna sell decently in the West, even at $50, whether you like it or not. So I think it's likely. Alright, first question is from the man himself, Demicro. Will we get P4G on PS4, PS5, Xbox, and Switch this year? Okay, interesting. This year, maybe. I would say PS4, 5, and Switch if it happens. I don't know if... I mean, Xbox and Persona, we'll talk about that later. I don't think they're going to start with P4G, and I don't think it's going to be this year either. But what do you think? And let's not spend too much time on the questions, by the way. I want to answer a lot of them.
I agree. I agree.
All right.
We can move on with that.
All right,
I have the
cool.
same.
Good question, though. I'd like to see P4G on all those consoles, even Xbox. Even Stadia, goddammit. Release it everywhere. Now, next question is from Kugan. Do you think P5 can get one more spin-off / sequel? Can it? Yes. Do I want that? Nah, not really. What about you?
Same, yeah.
Same.
It's kind of like, yeah. If
I'm good now.
If it comes out good, if it's not, I'm good, yeah.
All right. He also has a second question here. Any chance in the near future that Atlus will end exclusivity of Persona mainline games on Sony consoles? Absolutely. In the near future, I think it's going to happen. Sony, both Sega and Atlus, they keep saying that they want to drop exclusivity for some of their bigger IPs. Whenever they try to drop exclusivity, it works. So I don't see why they wouldn't do it. And if you look at the recent releases that they had, P4G on Steam, Strikers on Switch, Yakuza on Xbox, it works. It works. And if you look at their latest exclusive, they flop. Like 13 Sentinels, Sakura Wars, like exclusivity, they really need to put their games on multi-platform, and I think they will in the next future, in the near future for sure.
100% agree. I remember seeing that Spencer, I think, was the one that was saying that Sega was trying to get us to do more games on PC, uh, and
Oh, they will.
Atlus was kind of like, oh, maybe. But after Persona 4 Golden, seeing how well it did, there's no doubt in my mind they're gonna get everything on PC eventually.
Absolutely. Strikers is on Steam now. Golden
Yeah.
on Steam. Nocturne's gonna be on Steam too. We all called that, by the way. We knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
So yeah. Brendan has a cool question here as well. That was a question that was also asked by someone else here. I just want to see. Ah, damn it, I lost it. Too bad. Now, his question was, or is, do you still believe SMT5 is going to come out in 2021? For my part, yes. Now, if it's not at E3, and if we, no, let's say it's not at E3, for now, I'm 90% sure it's going to come out in 2021. If it's not at E3, that drops to 40. And if we don't see it in some type of partner showcase before August, it drops to 0. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. If we don't get an announcement by July, we're not getting it this year. It's just like you gotta think about marketing, and especially now that the game is coming worldwide,
Yeah.
and pre-orders, and I'm sure Nintendo's gonna want to do something as well. So you gotta have to look at all this stuff here. And Nintendo likes to announce them pretty fairly on in the year to kind of have the whole year to kind of advertise. But Atlas likes to have at least a month or two. I think they've been releasing them within like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
What was it? Persona, I don't know. Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne was announced in July for an October release.
Yep. So that's possible for
they,
5 too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm looking at. Like, if
Mm-hmm.
by July we didn't get another one of those partner showcases, I don't think it's coming out this year.
Yeah. Next question is from Super Gamer Guy 64, and his question is: do you think Atlus will drop P4G or P5R on one platform at a time, or all at once, like how they've been doing with Strikers on Switch, PS4, and Steam? Oh, good question. P4G, I would say, is only going to release on Switch and PS4 because it's already on Steam. P5R, I can kind of see a Switch and Steam release at the same time, or just a Steam release.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them that they just released the Steam release. It looks like it's a lot easier for them to make ports over to PC, just based on history so far. My thoughts is there's gotta be something stopping them from doing the Switch release, and it probably has something to do with things like how well the games are. There's a word I'm looking for here. The games are, oh shit, I missed my word, but the point is that the games that they have released so far aren't like really well ported. So I don't know. I would be wary of a Switch release, especially for something like Persona 4 Royal. Uh, how was the Catherine release on Switch? Did it perform well?
Performance wise or like sales wise?
No, like performance wise.
Performance,
like how well did the game
it ran
play?
perfectly.
Oh, it did. Yeah.
Flawlessly. Yeah, it's as good as the PS4 version. If you look at both versions next to one another, there's no frame drops on either version, and it looks almost identical. The loading times are a bit longer, so personally, I wouldn't be worried with Persona 5 Royal on Switch performance-wise either. It's a bigger game than Catherine, but it's the same engine, and with the right optimization, I'm sure they can make it work 100%.
Okay, yeah. If that's the case, then I'm sure it's fine. I think that it's more likely that we get a PC release. Like I'm like 90% positive we're probably gonna get a PC release first.
Oh yeah.
We get the Switch.
For Royal, yes. For Golden, I think it's happening before Royal. But good question, Super Gamer Guy. Thank you so much. Then we also have another question from Coogan asking, do you think Nintendo will swallow their pride / shell out money to get P5R on Switch? I don't think it's a question of pride. I think it's whether their Atlus is willing to put the game on the platform or not, to be honest. I don't think Nintendo needs to pay them to put the game on their platform because it's... Atlus should put Persona 5 Royal on Switch. Switch is outselling all the consoles right now, especially in Japan, so there's no reason why it's not on the platform. I'm not port begging, I'm just being realistic here.
Right.
Demi Crow asks, Jack Bros 99 when? I don't know about that one, dude. I don't know about that one.
Right.
Do we have other questions? Yes, we do. Ashmad or Ahmad, sorry if I mispronounce your name. Do you think if P3 got remade with this? Okay, sorry for I think he means, do you think Persona 3 would get remade in the same engine as P5? No, I don't think so. I think they really struggled with P5's engine, and I think they're done with it. And that would be a completely new game. And for all the reasons that we mentioned before, I don't think it's likely at all.
Yeah, 100%. There was in fact, before, like, I don't really think they're gonna use a Persona engine anymore. There was a report not long ago that the P Studio was hiring developers using the Unreal Engine. So there is a pretty good chance that Persona 6 is gonna be using the Unreal Engine, especially after the Shin Megami Tensei team was talking about how much smoother and how much easier has been since they moved to Unreal. I don't think they're gonna be using the Persona engine.
Yeah, same. Alright, so that was a couple of interesting questions. I know we didn't answer all of them. I'm sorry about that. We'll keep going for a bit and we'll answer more questions later, but we still have a couple of topics to go over that I think are going to be interesting. Should we talk about E3? Oh, we were talking about multi-platform just a second ago, so let's talk about Persona and Xbox. So, if you're not aware, guys, there was a lot of rumors in regards to Persona 5, more precisely, coming to Xbox and maybe even Xbox Game Pass. I don't want to go too deep into what those rumors were because they were just rumor, but they were brought up by some important Xbox leakers. So that's why it got steam in the internet. What I want to talk about today is, does it make sense for Atlus to put their games on Xbox, to put Persona on Xbox? Does it make sense financially? Is it going to do well? Would it do well? And also, will they do it?
Yeah, I think, if anything, I think they eventually will. I mean, Sega already put the Yakuza games and they did pretty good there. So there's really no reason not to put them there. Or than,
Especially since I don't think, unlike a Switch version, I don't think they would need to put that much work into Xbox versions of like Persona 5.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned before how I think Royal could be on Switch. I stand by that. But it would require way more work than if they bring Royal to, let's say, Steam or Xbox. That's facts.
Yeah.
Because the architecture is way similar. The Switch is completely different. So even if it can probably handle the game, it would definitely need more work. So. But
I definitely think that it's easier. Not only that, but they also get a cut. I think I was looking into it. I was looking into the Xbox Game Pass thing, and it looks like they have a couple different models where people get. Atlus or Sega will get a cut from it, or they straight up get paid by Sega. By Xbox, straight up. They write them a check and they see how many people will download it, or they get a cut from how many people download the game. So either way, I'm sure they'll get some money out of it. So if they just want to get some free money, I don't see why not. Again, the Yakuza games did pretty good, so
they did. Now, would Microsoft pay for Persona on Xbox? That's my biggest thing. I think they would.
That's the biggest question.
I think they would, because they paid for Yakuza, and Persona is even bigger nowadays, or at least it's close to being bigger if it's not. So, and as you mentioned, Yakuza is doing great on Xbox. I'm sure it's bringing a lot of people to the Game Pass service.
Oh yeah, he got me into it. That's
Exactly.
why I got the Xbox Game
See,
Pass, because he had all of them. So that's the
exactly.
only reason why I got it. So yeah,
And
if he
also
got me to it, I'm sure some other people will.
100%. And also the fact that Game Pass is, let's be honest, it's Western. It's trying to get the Western audience. It really is. And Persona 5, if Microsoft wants Japanese games on their service, on being Game Pass, if they want Japanese games, what's the biggest Japanese RPG that succeeded in the West in the last 5 years? It's Persona 5. It is. It's like there's Persona 5 and there's Dragon Quest 11. Those are the two biggest Japanese RPGs that did super well critically and sales-wise in the West. And they have Dragon Quest 11 now on Game Pass. Persona 5's next. It makes a lot of sense. And Microsoft, they have the money. They have the money to buy Atlus and Sega. So they have money to get freaking Persona 5 on Game Pass for sure. And we all know that Atlus loves money. So I really think it makes sense. And I really don't see any reason why it cannot go to Xbox. I know a lot of people would say, oh, I don't want it on Xbox. But I don't mind, and second, I feel like it's super likely.
No, I 100% agree with you. Also, I do want to comment one thing. I don't think Xbox is or Microsoft is going to buy Sega. I don't think that's like because they're valued almost as much as Bethesda. I was looking at the numbers, and they're like pretty much about the same value of them, but the market that they aim for is so different. Like a lot of the money and revenue from Sega comes from things like arcades and like other businesses that they have. But remember, it's not just Sega; it's Sega Sammy, and it's like an entertainment company that does all different stuff besides just being Sega and video games and everything. And the revenue, sure, there's a good bit of revenue that comes from video games, but there are other avenues and other things that they do. So I don't think Microsoft is gonna be interested on the point of buying Sega as a company, but getting them into Xbox Game Pass is definitely 100% a possibility. I don't see why they wouldn't take free money.
Oh yeah, 100%. And the other thing about Microsoft buying Sega is Sega's not in the position right now where they want to be bought. It's like Sega is getting back on their feet. They had rough years financially, and now it's starting to get better. They have big games that are massive success now. So now is not the right time for them to be bought. That's the thing. Even if Microsoft, they have the money, I'm pretty sure Sega doesn't want to be acquired right now. So yeah, but we could do a whole podcast only on the Microsoft buying Sega. I think we would have a lot to say for sure. Heather also brought up other games. Final Fantasy games, they're almost all on Game Pass now. Dragon Quest, Kingdom Hearts. So yeah, Persona is only a matter of time, in my opinion.
Right, I agree with you.
Plus, Microsoft consoles, Xbox, they're on Atlus surveys now. They're an option now, and they weren't before. So who knows? Who knows?
It's also still the only way to get the Persona Arena games on HD.
Yeah. I know King's not here anymore, but King mentioned that before. He said P4 Arena has to get on Steam. And that would be so cool because I think that's a game that would benefit from mods like a lot. P4 Arena, man, that would be so cool. Like, I wish we would have like an SMT Arena. I'm not even a big fighting game guy, but that would be so cool. I want more SMT spin-off, to be honest.
If they did an SMT Arena, I'll be super open to that. Like, can you imagine like each one of the main characters, or not just even main characters, just like my dream game, like my dream spin-off will be like this massive Super Smash Bros. Ultimate type, but only with like Mega 10 and like Persona, like all these different Mega 10 properties they have.
Could you imagine like Atlus Ultimate, and they're like, everyone's here, and it's like all the Atlus characters from all the freaking games that they, even the games that they published.
And,
Yeah, It's like Vincent fighting like Godo, fighting Raido, fighting Joker, fighting. Oh my
Yeah.
god, that would
Or
make no
hell, even
sense.
if they
But
did like a Sega Ultimate or something
oh,
like that, like with
that'd be
Sonic and
even better. Yes, Sonic,
Hitman and Joker.
Kiryu, Joker. Oh my god.
I'll buy it. I'll
Dude,
definitely
insta
drop
buy.
money.
I'd buy 10 copies.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, P4 Arena should get on PC. That would be cool. Now,
Agreed.
let's move on to another topic here. We have E3 to talk about. I think that's going to be the longest subject. So let's talk about the Atlus Store before we talk about E3. Now, we don't know much yet. The Atlus Store was an official store by Atlus. They were selling merchandise, and that closed down in 2019 with the promise of bringing back the store in a better way at some point. That's all we know. Now, we know it's coming back now. That was confirmed, but we don't know in which state it's going to release. We don't know if it's going to be as bad as it was, if it's going to be worse, if it's going to be better. We don't know anything. So, I don't know. What do you expect? Let's start with what do you expect, and then we'll talk about what we would like, because I think we can both agree that we're not going to get what we want.
Oh, the 100%, yeah. So my expectation is gonna be the same as before. So what they're doing right now, if you guys haven't seen, they are outsourcing all of their stuff through all the different companies. There is a clothing company that does a lot of like gaming things. So all of their shirts are being released through them right now.
Yep.
There is there also another company that does like pins and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and they're outsourcing that as well. Um,
They have multiple
so
retailers that they work with
right,
for that,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
They
Yeah, they have a
license official.
retailers.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they license official Atlus merch to multiple.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's only on the Western side. We're not talking about all the licensings that they're doing in Japan.
There's even
Like
more
they have a perfume line, they have a tea line, they have
crazy
coffee,
stuff.
they have all this crazy other different stuff. They had a vinyl which I forgot to pre-order, and now it's out, and I'm kind of mad that I forgot to pre-order it.
Oh
So it's
man.
like all this different stuff that they are doing, and it's frankly a mess. So my expectations, what I think is gonna do is they're gonna consolidate. They're not gonna start selling stuff that like proprietary stuff or anything. What I'm thinking is they're gonna consolidate all this outsourced stuff into one website where people can go and buy,
Yep.
but it's still gonna be outsourced through third parties and
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
That makes
Expect
sense.
them the pricing to be pretty the pricey, because right now some of these shirts are like $30, $40.
Yeah.
There's some jackets that are like $50. Just expect those prices. I don't think they're gonna be any cheaper. Even if it's not outsourced, it's still gonna be around the ballpark.
Oh yeah. That makes sense. You know, no, I said expectations, so I'll start with that. I think everything that you just mentioned makes sense. I expect pretty steep prices, like not too crazy, but still in the expensive range to say the least.
Right,
Now,
yeah.
when it comes to what merch is gonna be on there, realistically, I think it's gonna be. I think they're still gonna keep a big focus on the IPs that they're already focusing on. Like I think there's gonna be 85% of the store is gonna be like Persona merch.
Right.
85, and that's already better. I'm being positive because before, if you guys don't know, like this in the state that the store was when it closed, it was Persona 5 merch. 99% was of the store was Persona 5 merch, and if I remember correctly, there was like an SMT4 final wall scroll and I think some pins, and that's all.
And the worst part is like even the Persona 5 stuff was all sold out.
Yeah, that's
Everything
the
was
thing.
sold.
Yeah,
That
that's
everything was sold out. There was nothing was ever available. It was a really small limited run, which they never told people it was a limited run.
yeah.
Like they never told people that it was gonna be like exclusive item for a little bit. Now a long time ago, and I'm talking about on the PlayStation 2 era, the store was really cool. they had like exclusive stuff, like the back of the when you buy your game, at the back of the pamphlet there was like a thing that you could fill out to mail it to them, and you could join the Atlas Club, and you had like goodies and rewards that you could go and check out in the store. But we're talking about like that's the Persona 4, Persona 3 era. So it's like a
Yeah.
long time ago now.
Hmm.
But I remember those days. I remember filling out one of those things on the back of the thing, so I could get some of those rewards, which I never got, but I always had the intention for.
Yeah. No, there's a lot. That's the thing. There's a lot that they could do, because I feel like Atlas fans, like, obviously we're really invested in the community, but I feel like we're extremely invested. Like, we like to buy the most useless garbage if it's Atlas stuff. I mean,
Right.
I'm that way.
You're,
Like, I'm
you're
paying,
100% sure.
dude,
Uh,
I'm paying ridiculous prices for like my Rido figure, for example. I got a pretty good deal on it, but I made a video on it and I was like, dude, I paid like $50 over MSRP. That's crazy stuff. So I'm willing to pay. I would be willing to
oh,
pay big prices for official merch.
100%. Larue made a video today about, or yesterday, about like this unboxing that he did with
Yeah,
like
I saw
goodies that
that.
he got
Yeah.
from Japan, and some of the stuff that he got are literally just pamphlets or like
Yeah.
advertisement from like previous games and everything. And I'm like, I was thinking like some people will be like, oh man, that's ridiculous. But when I went to Japan, I went like they were doing advertisement to for like previous games and everything like that. And Persona 5, the animation was just coming out at the time. I literally went and grabbed like three of those like advertisement things. They were just pamphlets and stuff, and I still have them over here. I just have like all this stuff. I was thinking, I'm gonna frame them and put them on like different places around the room and stuff. I'm like, it's ridiculous because it's just like it's literally just a piece of paper from the
You
store.
could probably sell those for like $20 each.
Right.
Crazy stuff, man. I mean, I almost bought it, but I saw like this official store poster for Rido 1, like this big poster, and it was like, I almost bought it, but it was like $45, and there was like a tear on the bottom of it. I was like, dude, I can't pay $45 for a damaged poster. I can't do it. It's as much as I would like to, it's unreasonable.
You're right. No, I
So
100% agree.
yeah,
But
but
yeah,
I
you're right. The community, like the fans, are like so invested on it that they'll probably drop the money for it. And Atlas knows that. I don't know if they do or not, but I think they do.
oh yeah, I think they do. I think like what they did with Persona Dancing, the physical collectors thing that they did in the West, I
Oh,
think
don't
that's
even.
proof
Oh
that
yeah,
they know will pay.
they know.
Sadly,
They know because they're releasing Nocturne for fifty
yeah,
dollars. So
that's another thing. Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Now,
sure they know.
what I would like to see for this store is I would like more diversity in the products. Like posters are cool, pins are cool, t-shirts are cool, but we like
Yeah.
other stuff too. I like plush, I like figures, I like art, I like signed things. So there's a lot of things that they could do. What would you like to see?
So what I want, which is kind of different from what it is, like you were saying. So first of all, I have like a dream store, right? For first of all, I want everything that they sell in Japan to be available in the West. So instead of having like two stores, like a Japanese store or like a Western store, I want a store where people can just go and buy stuff that otherwise, like, I don't want to spend $50 trying to import a figure. Like like every time that I'm trying to pre-order a figure from Japan, I'm paying transportation taxes and
Import
import
fees, yeah.
taxes, and then like whoever the retailer is, it wants a cut on that too. So I figure that we will pay $100 for. You end up paying like $200, $300 for, because you're paying all those extra fees and everything.
Absolutely.
And it's frankly not fair because we're as much as a fan as every other part of the world. And I'm sure like you have to deal with your own stuff in Canada. There are some items that will probably never gonna get there unless you pay like all these other fees as well.
Dude,
So
speaking of that, the steelbooks, I've been trying to get the exclusive Best Buy Yakuza Like a Dragon steelbook.
yeah.
Cheapest one on eBay is like $28 Canadian plus shipping.
Oh, really?
Strikers is like $45, the cheapest ones. Crazy
Uh,
stuff.
that's crazy stuff, and it's crazy because at the end of the day, like I said, we're still customers. We still pay. We do the amount of like I don't know like I just feel like I don't want to come off as entitled because I don't feel like it's an entitlement, but when you put the as much money as we do into like what we like, I feel like we do deserve this same level of attention, if you say not really attention, but like the same level of respect, I guess, as customers.
Yeah.
uh
Speaking of
I guess, yeah.
merch, there's Patatas in the chat mentioning Demi Fiend Figma. That's coming.
Oh,
That's
that's
gonna be
coming. I don't
awesome.
want it.
Oh, I want that, dude. I don't care if
I,
it's like I know you don't like those type of figures, but Demi
yeah, I
Fiend
don't,
is like, oh man, I want that Demi Fiend figure next to my Raido one.
yeah, I'm sure you do. And honestly, like if it wasn't a deep, if it wasn't a Figma, like I really like to be honest, and this is what baffles me. The quality of the Persona figures are really good. Like they're like pretty, and there's a reason why some of them are expensive. Like if you look at the Nijima figure or the Tai figure, those figures run for like $400.
That's
And I
crazy,
really,
dude.
yeah, and I'm like, I really want them because they're really, really good quality. So like if they did a Demi Fiend or a Rhino one of that quality, I will definitely drop the money
Well,
for it.
the Demi Fiend is confirmed. There's gonna be a bust figure, which is gonna be like it's real life size, so that's probably gonna be
Oh
like
no,
two
no, no!
thousand dollars.
I'm not dropping three
Oh
thousand
no,
dollars.
me neither. But that's gonna be like 3K. But the Figma is also confirmed. There's a Demi Fiend Figma confirmed. It's just we didn't see it yet. We don't know when it's gonna release and everything. But we know it's in
Yeah.
the works. So
Oh no, no! I know about the Figma. I'm talking about one of the older ones that they
like the
just
statues.
yeah, the regular
Oh
statues. That they
yeah,
did.
I
I
know
will.
Devil May Pi has a couple of them. Those are the
Yeah.
one that you're talking about, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, those ones are cool. And speaking of those, I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I don't know if you saw them, but there's like the 13 Sentinel statues. There's one for like
Yeah,
Natsume
I'm
and
pre-ordering one of them. What is
yeah,
the girl with the asshole?
the Asshole Cat with Goda. It's Megumi. That's the one that I pre-ordered. Actually, I pre-ordered Natsume. Then when I saw Megumi and the cat, I canceled it, and I was like, I want the A
And there's
Hassle
the
Cat.
cat. Yeah, I literally will pay a figure for just the cat.
Yeah,
He's my favorite character in the game, and I really love all the different characters. But him and his sarcastic comments and his voice and everything, he hands down one of the best characters.
absolutely. And Brandon in the chat, I'm also in Canada, so I know what you mean. Those steelbooks are US exclusive. The ones that that was talking about, if you're still talking about Yakuza Like a Dragon and Strikers, they're US exclusive, so we don't even have them in Canada. So yeah, that's what I was talking about. It's like if you want the Like a Dragon steelbook, it is around $25, and Strikers is like 45, which is even worse. Yeah. I would be ready to jump in E3. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's jump right in. Again, guys, if you enjoyed the podcast, drop a like. That helps a ton. Thank you so much. Now, E3. What I wanted to talk about first is, I don't know if you've seen the schedule, but there's a couple of publishers that are confirmed to be at E3, even if it's being a digital event, which that surprised me. I'm not going to lie, but cool. It's great for us, the consumers. And Sega and Atlus is not on the schedule. And I know that sparked a lot of talk. And I didn't understand what the big deal was at first, because if you look at past Atlus schedules, E3 schedules, sorry, Atlus and Sega, they're never there. And when they are, it's only for a booth. They have a booth, and they have like demos of games, and I added a P5R booth picture in my thumbnail here that you guys can see on screen. They're there, but they're not really there. So they're not there with press conferences. The last time that they were there for a press conference, it was like 2010, I think, or something like that. So it's really, really crazy.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised that they weren't gonna be at E3 because they never really are. They do have, like you said, a booth, and they do like give out goodies and stuff. Like for example, I have a Morgana hat that my friend got me at E3, like
Mm-hmm.
whenever Persona 5 was announced and everything. Um, but what they do is they drop trailers during the E3 presentation time frame. They don't announce them at E3, but they know people are looking for news, so they drop trailers during that time period. They don't partake on E3. They just use the hype to drop trailers then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's the
but
thing, and I'm like,
yeah.
physical boost, that's not happening this year, of course. So the one thing that I talked about in my video, and I read all the comments as I always do, so I know kind of what people think here.
Mhm.
I think they're gonna be at E3, but they're just gonna be there as a publisher. They're just gonna show their games through other publishers that are there, like Microsoft and Nintendo, which that's what they always do. That's what they always do. In
Right.
2018, they had a lot of time on games like Yakuza 6 that was big at E3 of that year, and they were not on the schedule. They were just there showing their games through other publishers, and I think that's what they are going to do this year. So
Mhm.
SMT5, yeah, 100%. I think that can be at E3, that can be at Nintendo's show. So I don't think Sega and Atlus not being on the schedule is a big deal. Far from it.
Right. Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal either. It's not their time to show anything. Remember, Sega and Atlus particularly are a very Japanese company. They like to do their most of their announcements in Japan.
Yep,
Not they don't really do the big announcements in the West. I know some
that's true.
people expect news to drop for SMT 5 and stuff like that, but in reality, it's never meant to be. It's never meant to show like that.
Yeah,
My
well,
dream, my hope, I'm hopeful that one day it does come to the fact that they announce worldwide things in like a big event like E3, but in reality, they don't really do that.
yeah, you're 100% right on this one. I think SMT5 is kind of an exception though because Nintendo's behind it. Because if you look at a game like let's say they keep exclusivity with Persona, let's say Persona 6, okay? Well, Persona 6 is going to be revealed at a Japanese show. 100% because that's only Atlus thing. So they're gonna show it at like a Tokyo Game Show or at an Atlus stream at some point. That's where we'll see it first, or at a concert, not at an E3, not at a specific Western event like E3. SMT5, why I think is gonna be, I think it's gonna be at E3. I'm 90% sure it's gonna be there is because Nintendo's there, and Nintendo, like, they're the one that got the first trailer in July last year. They're the one that showed that, and that was
Well,
showcased in the
the
West Day One. So,
the first two trailers weren't announced at
um,
Nintendo.
yes, the first one at the Nintendo Switch presentation, but that was a Japanese event. So, the first trailer when they revealed that it was SMT5.
Oh
That
yeah,
was in
yeah.
January 2017 at the Nintendo Switch press conference. I think it was called.
Was that they announced a Nintendo Switch? Wasn't that when they announced the Switch?
Yes, that's when they
Yeah,
like revealed what the Switch was. When
yeah.
they
That
showed the
wasn't a
Switch.
Japanese announcement. That was like worldwide, or was it just a Japanese?
Well, that was worldwide because it was shared by
Yeah,
Western media and all. It was a massive event,
yeah.
but it still took place in Japan. So, but since it's
Oh
Nintendo,
yeah.
I don't think it means much. Second trailer, you're right though, because that was shown during the Chaos Side concert in 2019.
Right.
That's where we got the second trailer. So yeah, but I think
Yeah,
it's
the
very
first
likely
trailer
for
wasn't
E3.
really a trailer. It was just kind of like some cutscenes with
Yeah, it was a
some
CG
really
trailer.
small
Yeah.
stuff, and they were like Shin Megami Tensei 5. I think that was more like a thing where Nintendo wanted to show that they were
Oh,
getting a lot of
absolutely.
third-party support because
Japanese third-party support
it,
at that. Yeah.
it has some issues with the
The Wii U.
the Wii U, and that, so I'm sure they wanted to get some confidence as far as like, yeah,
One
we got a bunch of people
One
making
hundred
games
percent,
for
dude.
it,
I agree. 100. That's
100%.
facts. Yeah,
And
dude. Because the Wii U Japanese support, third-party Japanese support was horrible.
oh
So,
yeah,
and RPGs on the Wii U too were lacking. So when they arrived in January and they showed like Skyrim, they showed SMT5, they showed Xenoblade Chronicles 2, all of that was in the same show. Octopath Traveler. So day one, here's the Switch, and here's how in one conference we're showing you more RPG that the Wii U ever got. So they wanted to prove that, hey, we have backing from Japanese third parties. here are the games that we look at. So that's I also think that's one of the reasons why SMT5 was announced so soon. If it wasn't for Nintendo, I think we probably would have heard of SMT5 in like 2019 for the first time.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there was like a mix of different stuff that they had to do, which take it or leave it. It's just it's long history now. I'm no longer upset about them announcing games super early or anything. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I'm just excited for whatever we get next. I'm open to stuff and everything, but I do not think that we're gonna get it. I think that we're more likely to get it at a Nintendo event than at E3.
Okay, okay. So that was for Shin Megami Tensei 5. Now, what other Atlus... Do you think we can see another Atlus game at E3 than SMT5? I don't think so.
There is one, and we haven't talked about this game in a while because they haven't talked about it in a while.
I think I know
But
where
I
you're going.
think, yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I do think that RE Fantasy will be showing up at some point, and I do think that this is their take or like their aim for a Western audience game.
You think so?
Uh,
Okay.
Yeah, I do think that that this game will take aim at like Western audiences in like a different format, um, just purely based on like reactions from people and everything, including like I remember like there was like one of the Final Fantasy developers that had like a reaction. No, it was not Final Fantasy. What's the name? Crazy dude from Nier. He has like a mask and that he wears.
Oh, I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he had a reaction video when
Yeah.
they announced it, and he was like, "Oh, don't touch this." He was like, he was going crazy about it. I'm sure
Yeah.
he's a fan, but it was just funny to see his reaction about it.
That's interesting
Yeah.
that you brought up Re Fantasy because I 100% see what you mean. I didn't think about that before though. Re Fantasy, I don't know if I can see it at E3. I think we can see it before the end of the year for sure, but I don't know if it's gonna be E3 personally. And that was not the game that I had in mind, dude. With what you said.
What game did you have?
That's definitely a good pick for what you said. A game that we've not heard anything about for the longest time. Oh, 1 second. I unplugged my headphones. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, when you said we haven't heard anything about it yet, we don't know what the Etrian Odyssey team is working on, and I feel like that would be an E3 game.
I don't know, man. I think they're probably working on Persona 3Q.
Oh,
That
really?
game's- And that game sold better than the Etrian games did.
Come on, I know. We don't need Persona Q3.
I'm not. Look, I'm not the biggest Q fan. In fact, I've gone on record and talking about how much I don't like a lot of the aspects. I much rather get another Etrian Galaxy game because I am a fan of him. But if you look at the numbers, Persona Q sold better than those games.
I don't doubt that, dude. And you
So,
know what? I'm gonna go out of my way to say I think, because I know the chat's talking all about that now, of course. I think the next Persona game that we'll see is Persona 6.
Yeah.
Other
100%.
than like an old port, obviously, like Persona
Yeah.
3 on Steam and all. But I think the next new Persona game that we'll get, I think it's Persona 6. I think it's coming. Look at how successful P5 was. I'm pretty sure they want to show us the next big thing from Atlus. I think that's what's gonna happen. But
Yeah,
when? That's the thing.
I don't know. I think they're gonna do one more spin-off. I'm not saying that I want to, by the way. I wanna go on record on this. I'm not saying I want more Persona 5 spin-offs. I actually I have fatigue about Persona 5.
Same.
I want Persona 6. I've done a whole tier, so like I have like 40 videos talking about what I want for Persona 6. Like I don't want more Persona 5 stuff. I'm really tired. It's like there's like some aspects like I don't. It's not my favorite team. I much rather have like another Persona 4 spin-off.
Oh yeah. Oh, same, dude. Absolutely. I'd go
Like-
even further and say even the Persona 3 spin-off. At least that'd
Yeah.
be different. Because
Yeah,
P5, it's
but,
like, man, I've been playing with the P5 cast for years now. It's I'm good. I'm good. And I keep
Yeah.
thinking about Persona Q, and you know what? PQ2 flopped hard, dude. PQ1 did pretty well, but PQ2 that did
Oh yeah,
horribly.
it did, but it did because they released it as the
Oh yeah.
Switch was coming out. That was their own
No,
mistake.
no.
Like,
After the Switch was out, dude.
yeah.
Q2 came out in 2018, so the Switch was already out. That was the worst timing
Yeah,
I've ever seen.
that was really bad. They didn't, and the advertisement for it was pretty crappy too. I had just started working on my channel, and I didn't even see a trailer in the West come out for that game. Like it was like they just like dropped it one day. I guess I don't know. Uh, I
Yeah,
don't know.
I can't really see it happening.
Yeah. I personally think that I will personally would like to see Etrian Odyssey, but I think they are very likely to drop another one of them.
Yeah. Now, another game that I could see at E3, it would be a comeback from an Atlus series that used to appeal to a very casual audience in the West. I think that series might come back soon, and I think it might come back at Nintendo's show at this E3, that being Trauma Center.
Oh, dude, another trauma center will be fantastic.
I think so because we appeal to a very mainstream audience, a casual audience. The Switch is doing the same thing. Trauma Center did well on Wii. I think they could bring back those games on Switch, and I think they would do super well. And I'd like
Yeah,
that because those games are
be
great.
down for another one. Yeah, those are great games. It kind of like reminds me, like in a weird sense, in like a niche weird sense, to the um you're a fan of these games to the Jesus, the objection. What is it
Oh,
called
Ace
again?
Attorney. Ace
Yeah, Ace
Attorney.
Attorney. They kind of remind me of like a specific set of people that are really into those games,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
The Ace
And
Attorney fan base is like it appealed
yeah,
when it first came out in Japan to a very casual audience. In the West, a bit, not as much. But right now, I'm telling you, I'm pretty invested in the Ace Attorney's fan base, and there's not a lot of people, but those dudes, they know the games by heart. I swear, some of them are like crazy into it, crazy stuff. And when I look at them and their interaction in the community, I kind of see us, the Megaton fan base, but like not all the Persona fans, but like the hardcore mainline fans. Like they kind of remind me of us. Like they're very similar in a way that they expect news, they speculate about news, and they stream events and they hope for Capcom info on Ace Attorney, and they're just like us.
right. No, I totally agree. If they do another one, I'll be down to try them out. I never played the Ace Attorney games, but
Oh, you
whenever I
should,
think
man.
of Trauma Center, I think of Ace Attorney for some reason because they're like weird anime games that have like a specific design and gameplay, and I feel like they're not for everybody, but they definitely can be like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Absolutely. Now, E3, like that was my last prediction for Atlus, and then again, I don't think that's likely, but it's the third thing that I could see. Like SMT5, I think is very likely. Etrian Odyssey, I don't think is very likely. And
Yeah.
Trauma Center, I don't think is likely. They're all possible, but don't think it's likely. So,
There's one thing that
oh, and Re Fantasy too, which I don't think is likely either.
there's one thing that I will say that we could get something on. Remember, this is the 25th anniversary of Persona.
Mm-hmm.
They could announce not a Persona game, but another Persona collaboration, like another
Oh yeah.
Joker situation with Super Smash Bros. That's what I'm
Yes,
talking about. Not
that
necessarily
makes
another
sense.
Persona game, but some kind of collaboration with Persona. Especially being the 25th anniversary, I wouldn't be surprised if they added another Persona character to Smash or something. Even Fortnite with Persona.
Oh yeah, that's happening, dude.
uh, eventually, I know it's a meme, but I could happen. I don't know. I'm just playing there.
Hmm. Now let's talk about Sega real quick because I think Sega, unlike Atlus, is super hard to predict. And Sega, I've looked at their latest years at E3 and they keep showing big stuff, so I'm kind of wondering what about E3 2021? I think Sega, they're holding off a lot of games. They released a lot of games in recent years. but they've been silent for a while now, and I really think we're gonna get info soon, and I think they're gonna have a pretty big presence at E3 this year. What do you think?
You know, it'd be cool. I would like to see. I would like to see some Yakuza game on the Switch.
Oh, on the Switch? Okay, interesting. I'd like that. I'd really like that.
Maybe, like, I remember they were doing something. I don't know if they actually released it, but didn't they work on a PS Vita game, or they were working on one, something like that?
I don't know. I know they released a couple of Yakuza game on PSP, but those were all Japan exclusive, unfortunately. But I don't know about Vita.
I remember seeing a Yakuza Ishin Persona, a PS Vita. Yeah, it's a thing.
Okay.
Yakuza Ishin.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, on Switch, the thing that kind of bothers me a bit, as much as I can see it because I think it makes sense, they cannot port 1 and 2 and Like a Dragon on Switch. Those games, they wouldn't work on Switch. I don't normally say that, but those games they can't, because Kiwami 1 and 2 and Like a Dragon, the three of them are running on the Dragon engine. And when you look at
that engine, they look beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
yes,
I see what
they
you're
really
talking
do.
about.
But Kiwami 1 and 2, those are like the first games that came out using... Oh, also Yakuza 6. Sorry, I forgot about that one. But yeah, Kiwami 1 and 2, they're the first Dragon Engine games that came out. And they're struggling on PS4. Like, they are. They're optimization issues that they fixed with Like a Dragon. When you play Like a Dragon, it's super smooth. And the issues that there was in Kiwami 1 and 2 are not there anymore. So they now know how to make their engine work, but I clearly don't have faith in them optimizing the Dragon engine enough to put the games on Switch.
I mean, like the spin-off.
Yeah, the spin-offs.
Judgment,
yeah,
or something like that.
Or the Judgment is also the Dragon engine, I think. I'm not too sure, but I think so. I'm not sure, but they could still do Yakuza 0. That could work. It's the old engine. And it's a PS3 game. Yakuza 0 came out on PS3 in Japan, so it could work. Same for Yakuza 3, 4, and 5. Dead Souls, those could all come for sure. What I think they could do is like put all the games on Switch, obviously, but they could do like Yakuza 0 and then give us like HD ports of 1 and 2. Not the Kiwami versions. The old games that they put on Wii U, they could do that and then release 3, 4, 5, 6. Not 6.
There was a rumor about Xbox Game Pass coming to Switch eventually.
Yeah.
So
it's hot right now. It's a hot subject.
You could definitely just play all of the games there, which is
it's
funny. But I will do it because right now I'm struggling playing the games on PC. I'm playing the Zero right now on PC. I'm like, I need a controller so bad, and I plug it in, but Xbox Game Pass is not compatible with the PlayStation controller. Or like the Steam games.
Yeah.
Which are.
For sure. That would be big if it happens, though. Pi Studios in the chat brought up something super interesting, and I have to rant for a bit here if you'll allow me. Pi Studios says, I wonder if Sega will even try Yakuza on Switch. The Wii U ports probably scared them off. And also, we have Kamanyax down in the chat saying also, yeah, reading the interviews, I don't think they'll port them, unfortunately. Now, to this, I have to say, I think you guys are wrong. I really do, because I know what interviews, Kamanax, you're talking about, and that was an interview that was with the director of the Yakuza series right after the first week of sales of Yakuza 1 and 2 on Wii U. Yakuza 1 and 2 on Wii U came out on the Wii U, which was a dead system, and there were Japanese exclusive, and even if Yakuza is a Japanese IP, obviously, it's doing super well in the West. So Yakuza 1 and 2 on Wii U, they flopped completely being Japanese exclusive. And on this interview, he says he don't think it's gonna happen. He don't think he wants his game on Switch because of Yakuza 1 and 2 on Wii U, because they flopped. But obviously, when you compare the Wii U and the Switch, they're so different, especially with their audience and the user base. Like, the Switch has millions. There's millions of Switch in Japan. So you can't look at the Wii U ports and say, okay, if they port Yakuza, it's gonna flop again, because it's such a different
Yeah.
system and the
Not
user
only
base
that,
is not the same.
not only
So
that, but I want to also mention a lot of games flopped on the Switch. Not
on the
not
Wii
just
U,
Yakuza. There were, I'm sorry, in the Wii U,
yeah,
and there are a lot of games that also came to the Switch and they did better. There's like so many
100%.
examples of that. So that to me don't means nothing. The Wii U itself flopped hard, but a lot of the games nowadays have had a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of games have done so much better now that they're on the Switch.
Yeah.
Even if it's the same game, so yeah, I mean that means nothing. I don't think that
Mm-hmm.
means anything for Sega or for
Yep.
Nintendo.
And I also want to add something on top of it. The Yakuza director has some very hot takes, very trash takes, in my opinion. No disrespect to him, but when he goes out in interviews, he says some really weird stuff. And another thing, he's the director. The director
Yeah,
doesn't
he's not a
decide if they're
producer.
gonna port the game to other system. It's all on the publisher. If Sega says, okay, there's a market for Yakuza on Switch, you put Yakuza on Switch. You're just not gonna be in charge of the team who's gonna port the game, but you don't choose. It's like you're the director. You work on the game. You don't decide where you publish the thing. That's not how it works. So that's another
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
Plus, again, another example of something that he said that kind of tickles me is he said, I don't want Kiryu in Smash because Kiryu doesn't punch women's. Like, I get your point, dude, but it's a fighting game. Like, come on.
Right. It's
That's
nobody's gonna look at Kiryu and be like, oh man, he's
oh
so
man,
brutal.
he's punching Princess Peach. I mean, Mario's doing it. Come on. It's like it's
Yeah,
a fighting game. That's
nobody's
so
gonna be worried
stupid.
about that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
dumb. And Kiryu needs to be in Smash, by the way. So nah, I don't like his takes. He's weird sometimes, but yeah. I would like the Yakuza games, and I think we could see something Yakuza at E3. I think we could maybe see the next game, or they also talked about how they would like to localize some of the games, so maybe they could localize the games that we never got. I think that could be a fun little remaster to localize at the same time for the first time.
Oh, yeah, I'll be down. I really ever since I played like a dragon, I've been so invested on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I haven't been able to stream them because of computer issues, but like I really like the series. Like I'm totally on board with whatever they do next. In fact, I saw this PlayStation 3 zombie Yakuza game they did, and I want to play it so bad. I know it flopped
Yeah.
really hard. I'm like, I really want to play.
Yeah, dude, for sure. I'm gonna send Requiem or anyone interested in the chat. I'm gonna send the article. It's a real thing. Yakuza series director Toshihiro Nagoshi reveals why he is against protagonist Kazuma Kiryu appearing as a guest character in fighting game franchises such as Smash Brothers. And he says, quote, "We get a lot of requests for that. Of course, there are exceptions, but fighting games usually have female characters, and I personally don't really want to see Kiryu hit woman."
That just sounds dumb.
That's dumb. Yeah, it is really dumb. Like, come on. But here's the article. I'll send it to anyone interested. So, okay, what else could we see from? Do you think Sonic is making a comeback at E3 this year? I don't follow Sonic news, so maybe
Honestly,
someone can correct us in the chat.
May the reason for that is Sonic 2, the movie, is coming
Oh, that's
pretty
right.
soon. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did a Sonic movie game, just to kind of push the.
That would
hype
be
of the
such a
movie.
Sega move. A Sonic
Yeah,
movie
right.
game. Oh, that'd be horrible. But the thing is, oh, maybe we'll see that. You know what? I think that's very likely. An Australian retailer recently leaked a remastered of Sonic Colors. That was like last week, so I think that could get announced at E3. Remastered of Sonic Colors for modern consoles. What do you think about
Yeah,
that?
100%. Yeah, I think so. That's a good possibility.
I think
The
that's more likely
Sonic,
than the new game. A new game.
the thing is that Sega has such a big library of game. They could any day just go and grab any of them and be like, okay, we're porting 5 of the oldest Sega games into whatever console. They
Yeah.
have the power to do that, and they don't do it. It's kind of like the Atlus situation too. Like they literally
Yep.
sit on that same spot where they could uh port all of the older Sonic games that people actually like instead of the new stuff that nobody likes, and they will get a bunch of money for that, and they still don't do it for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Sega and Atlus both, they're sitting on such a gold mine of IPs. It's crazy. It really is. I wish they would re-release some of their older games that would do well in a modern market. Like I'm thinking the Sakura Tyson series, the Streets of Rage games. They could come back and do super well. Streets of Rage 4 did extremely well. The Yakuza games. Yakuza is big now, so they should localize the Yakuza spin-offs that we don't have in the West. I think now they would work. What else could they?
Hell, they could bring those PSP games that they did into the Switch
Mm-hmm.
if they want to just make a quick buck.
Yeah, and it would work because
Yeah,
those games are they're popular now. The Yakuza series is big now.
right.
So, but what other Sega IPs is there out there? There's a lot of them. It's hard to tell. They could even
Yeah.
bring back like Jet Set Radio, older games like
Oh,
that, or Knights.
those have a cult following, so
Absolutely.
I'll be, yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of things that they could do. I'm trying to come up with other things. Again, there's Atlus, but as we discussed before, I don't think Atlus is gonna bring more stuff to E3. I don't think that's very likely. So,
Yeah, same here. I don't see it.
um, I think we went over most of the things that I had here for E3. We had a general question from Junis. I don't know if Junis is still in the chat, but that was a question I think from Twitter, and he asked, "What do you guys think there will be any remakes of older Atlus games, or will they focus on ports?" And I thought that was a super good question. Remakes for Atlus, I can't really see them.
I don't
Probably
see it.
Probably because they're not doing them, but they're great with remasters. Like obviously people are gonna say Nocturne HD, and you're not wrong. But if you look at like 3DS, all the Megaton games, Strange Journey, Devil Survivor 1 and 2, they did a great job with those games. So I feel like they're gonna stay with remasters. And they're just gonna
Yeah,
remaster most
there's
of their games.
100%. And also keep in mind, as you mentioned, Nocturne, but Nocturne is a remaster. It's no remake.
Oh no, I
It
know.
might have
I said
made some
forget
stuff.
Nocturne
Yeah.
because I was talking about quality of
Oh,
remastering. So, oh,
no, 100%. No. What Atlas wants to do is this. They want to put the lowest amount of money and time into a product that they can just relabel and ship. They
mhm,
don't wanna work really hard into them. Look, I don't
exactly.
blame them. Like I'm. If it was me, I wouldn't really put much work into them. It's just a port. At the end of the
Yeah.
day, they don't really want to put a lot of work into them, and I don't blame them. Like that costs effort, money, time, uh, creativity. Instead of having a team that could be making more games, they're gonna have making them ports. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense, right?
For
That's why
sure.
they outsource the games right now because their teams are working on actual games. They don't want to spend the money into doing something like that, and I get it. It makes sense.
It really does, and it's kind of sometimes I try to think as a publisher and a developer, and I assume it's super scary to be remaking one of your most beloved games. Like look at FF7. I swear that must have been so scary to do because obviously FF7 is a great example. When they first showed it, like people were like crying on stream. They were like, "Oh my god, that's so beautiful. I'm happy." But could you imagine if you have like a game like an FF7 or like let's say we're talking Atlus. Let's say we have like a SMT1 and they completely remake it. That's scary because you
Yeah,
don't know how
that's
we'll
scary. Yeah.
react. You don't know how your fans will
Oh,
react. You have a
100%.
beloved RPG for years. You don't want to destroy it. So,
Right.
nah, dude,
If
it's
they reworked the game and they had it run on like the Persona engine, and they added some Persona aspects to it, the world would catch on fire. Like I wouldn't even it wouldn't be a
oh
doubt in my
man,
mind.
dude,
So no, I agree with you. It's tricky to remake games. Is tricky.
It
There's a
really is.
difference. There's a reason why a lot of people don't remake games and they just remaster them.
Hmm.
Now, on the other hand, you have somebody like Capcom that they have like they caught lightning in a bottle. Like they have like specific formula to remaking their games. Like they remade
Resident
Resident
Evil.
Evil 2,
Hmm.
massive success. And then you look at Resident Evil 3, and it flopped. It didn't do as good as Resident Evil 2. So like, even when you got it right and you got it right and people was excited, there's still some people that didn't like the next remake that they did. So it's so hard. It's hard to predict. I don't blame you if you don't want to do it.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I also don't think they have that many games. At least Atlus, Sega, yeah, but Atlus, I don't think they have that many games that would benefit from a remake that much.
Well, hundred
So,
percent. A lot of people that think that they need a remake, I feel like it's people that haven't played them. Like I recently played Shin Megami Tensei 1, and I know you did too.
yeah,
Those games hold up so well.
they really do.
Like they really do. Like, and I'm not saying that just from a fan perspective. Like, you look at it. Which version did you play? Did you play the NES version or the Game Boy version?
Yeah, and yeah, Super Famicom, yeah.
Yeah, that's the version that I played. But I know some people that played the Game Boy version. I think that's what it is, and even that version played well. So like I personally feel like those games hold up super well. I don't. If anything, they just need a port. That's all I care for.
Yep, 100% with like quality of life improvements to help newcomers jump into the series. I think that's what they should
Right.
do.
Yeah. Hmm.
Guys, we went over all the topics that I wanted to talk about today, and I think those were great talks. Like, we covered all that I wanted to talk about. We did it efficiently, wasn't dragging on, so that was great. I also want to give a quick time for people to ask questions before we wrap things up. So maybe a couple of questions related to the topics today, because once again, you guys keep dropping great questions and we don't necessarily talk about them. So go ahead and ask some final questions for tonight. And again, thanks for the support, y'all. Paul, Pi Studios brought up something interesting here in the chat. He said Sega not publishing Wonder Boy and Streets of Rage 4 was dumb. Dude, facts. Streets of Rage, especially, like, dude, that game sold extremely well. Streets of Rage 4 outsold 13 Sentinels. It outsold Sakura Wars. It outsold a lot of other Sega games, and it was a very small game. So man, they flopped on that one.
100%.
That was a bad move, dude.
Somebody said, "I will kill for a Raid remaster with somebody like Platinum making
Oof,
the combat." I
that'd be a
will
remake, though.
100%.
But
I will
that'd be
be a
so cool,
remake.
yeah.
You know what? I will pay so much. The problem is that both Ninja Theory and Platinum, who make the combat, they are
Hmm.
so busy with other games
They
that I don't
really
think
are.
like Platinum is making like 3 or 4 games right now, and the fact that what is it, Camilla went and said forget about Bayonetta 3
Yeah.
means that they're not gonna be taking any other orders for a
Yeah,
while.
probably.
So
And also, I really don't think Atlus would want to drop that much money to Platinum for Raido. Like, they probably forgot about Raido. So, as cool as that would be, I can't see it happening for sure.
yeah, I will love it, but I don't know. And then Ninja Theory, got bought out by Microsoft, so
Hmm.
forget about anything from them.
Yeah, exactly. We have our first question here from Demi Crow asking, do you think we could ever get SMT 1 and 2 on Switch for like $5 or $10 like they did Fire Emblem? That'd be dope. I don't know if it's likely though. I feel like if we would have gotten it in the West, it would have been at the same time as the Japanese audience,
Yeah,
like on the Switch
100%.
Online system.
They're
But that'd be
already
cool
there.
though.
I just don't think that Atlas West wants to put the money into a whole localization team because they have to localize the entire game. Translation and everything else they have to do.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, it's just so that's the whole thing is he's asking if they will drop them for $5 to $10. If they have to do the whole translation and doing a whole localization team, it will be more than five to ten
Oh yeah, it
dollars.
would be. Maybe SMT 1 because it's already translated, but 2 that would be a more pricey thing probably. Next question is from Kid Kid. When will you make another Danganronpa? Okay, so that's for the Danganronpa Let's Plays. Tomorrow night or Friday night. Follow me on Twitter or ring the notification bell, Kid Kid, for that. But I'll definitely let you know as soon as I know. But tomorrow or Friday, we're gonna keep going for sure. Thanks for asking.
Definitely, and don't forget to like the video, guys. It was a really good
Yes.
podcast. So, like
Yes.
the video,
Yes.
subscribe if you haven't already.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, man. Pi Studios, why do you think Atlus never tried mainline Persona on Wii? Oh, on Wii, interesting. And then it sold a ton of units at the time. Good point. I think they probably were aware that the Switch, not the Switch, the Wii was that high up in sales because of casual gamers, which Persona doesn't necessarily appeal to, like, your grandma that bought a Wii to play Wii Sports, for example. So I feel like they were aware of that. That's probably why they went in the direction of like a trauma center instead of like an RPG. That's just my bet. I mean, even Nintendo, they were almost not confident enough to bring Xenoblade Chronicles to the West because they knew that like the Wii was a very casual platform and they'd rather bring games like Mario Sports and stuff like that. That's my hypothesis.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I don't see it.
So yeah. Last Bible remake for the win. I don't know about that, Dino. Next question would be from Kamanyax, if I didn't miss any. Asking, what event do you see Atlus revealing Persona 3 Remaster or SMT5 gameplay reveal? He says, example, E3, next Nintendo Direct, Tokyo Game Show. SMT5 E3 Direct, for sure, and Persona 3, that would be in 2 months at the PC Game Show. I think that's going to be announced there.
Very exciting. I cannot wait.
Yep. Kid asks, how do you feel about FPS Shin Megami Tensei? So that would be like first-person dungeon crawler. That's kind of controversial, but I wouldn't mind if they go back to like first-person dungeon crawling SMT1 to if Soul Hacker style. I wouldn't mind. I think that would be pretty cool, but I don't think they're gonna go back in that direction, especially now with like the more powerful hardware that they can work on with the Switch, the PlayStation, and all. I think they would want to take advantage of like 3D environments. But personally, I wouldn't mind. How about you, dude? I'm kind of curious to hear.
You know what? I've never been a fan of third-person dungeon crawling.
Huh.
It makes me nauseous. And it's not like I don't like it. It literally makes me nauseous. Playing Persona 1, for example, it makes me so nauseous. The walls and the school, especially in like the first area where everything just looks the same. It makes me so nauseous. Like the first time I played the game, it made me like throw up.
Oh, yeah, really?
Yeah, that's why whenever people ask me like if I will replay that game, I'm like, I played it one time, I probably can't play it again. It makes me so nauseous whenever I played it.
That's fair. That's fair. I can see it. P3 FES remake. Random Juno, we talked about that before in the podcast, so maybe you want to watch the playback if you want to hear that. But we had a good talk about that actually. But to summarize everything, I would say we both agree that like P3 FES, just P3 in general, wouldn't benefit from a remake necessarily. So I don't think it's worth it. We don't think it's worth it. Next question would be from Demi Crow asking, will I get sued if I make the Jack Bros remake?
As long as it
I don't
doesn't
know.
touch anything Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think so. I
Nintendo is
mean,
likely to sue you, but I
yeah.
don't think they care. Like,
I
for
don't think,
example,
yeah.
a lot of their music, they don't really claim music. For example,
Oh, they
they don't
don't.
really claim a lot of their video and everything like that.
They claim a bit of their older stuff, I found.
Yeah,
Like the
they do.
Persona
They
3, 4 trailers or the animes, they claim those. But like regular trailers, recent trailers, and music, they never claim those.
especially original content. I don't really think that they will, especially if you don't, if you're not looking to monetize it. If you're looking to monetize it, don't even think about it.
No, yeah, no,
But
for sure.
if you're gonna just do it for free and people are just gonna play it, then go for it. I don't think they're gonna take it down or anything
So,
like that.
yep, I agree. Brendan says Xenoblade required a petition from fans to come to North America. Yep, I know that exactly. That kind of proves my point with RPGs on the Wii. Next up is from Pi Studios. Have you noticed that P5 Strikers physical on Switch is kind of cheap? The colors are kind of washed out on my box art and didn't even print inside art. I wasn't really surprised about that, so I didn't give too much attention personally.
What was that?
The P5 Strikers physical box art on Switch. He says it's kind of cheap, but I mean it's not really surprising. There's no inside art and all, so yeah.
Oh yeah. The one that is really cheap is the collector's editions for Persona 5, the original one. The box fell apart while I was when I was doing the open box for that one. The unboxing, it literally fell apart as I was unboxing.
Wow, that sucks, man. Damn. Mine is still pretty clean for that one. I'm probably lucky though, so.
Right. I even saw other people who had the same issues as me. But of course, we can never forget about that terrible Persona 5 dancing
Oh yeah, that's terrible. Yeah, it really is. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
it is so bad. I don't even. I'm so regretful because it was $100 first of all. Which, okay, if you see it in perspective that you're getting to do $60 games, sure. But the problem is that the games aren't really valued at $60. Like I seen this collector's edition go for like $25
Yep.
digitally.
Crazy stuff, dude. Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Next question would be from Frozen Skelly. Do you think SMT5 will be released on PC as well while keeping Switch console exclusivity like Capcom will do with Monster Hunter Stories 2 and also with Rise, by the way? Interesting question. Honestly, I don't really think so because I think Nintendo's way more involved in SMT5 than we know. So I don't think the contract allows Atlus to release SMT5 on PC. That's just hypothesis though, and I could see it
And
happen. So
yeah, it just depends on how deep Nintendo is into this
yeah,
property. They have some soft agreement with them, which only covers like a year or two. For example,
yep,
Square Enix has a agreement with PlayStation when it comes to like their newer IPs. For example, Final Fantasy VII the remake only has like a 2-year contract,
yep,
and then Final Fantasy 16 also has another exclusivity. Well, again, they're just years. I'm pretty confident that the reason why they waited so long for F4G on PC is because of some kind of contract with Sony. They never talked about it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
that's really possible. So I could see it happening again. Yeah, it depends on the involvement of Nintendo because if they're super involved, they probably have a contract very clear saying that it's not going anywhere. While if they're not that involved, they could just have a contract for console exclusivity and they could release it on PC, such as Monster
Now,
Hunter Rise.
another thing to consider is the Shin Megami Tensei 5 was designed for the Switch. The one of the
Also,
earlier
yeah.
reviews from the director says that they chose the system because of a portability aspect and so
Yep,
on.
exactly. Next question. Okay, here it is from LS. Do you think SMT5 will release in 2021 if we see some news about it at E3? Yep, absolutely, LS. We briefly mentioned that before too, so we think so. Next question would be from Dart Pablo. Do you think P5 really does come to Xbox? It might get on Switch. So that would be. Do you think if it comes to Xbox, it could get on Switch next? Yes and no. Yes, because
Yeah,
that would
depends.
really 100% prove that there's no contract. Well, I still think that there's none between Atlus and Sony for P5. If there was one, it probably was time exclusivity. So that would prove that. But it doesn't necessarily prove it on the other hand because Microsoft could just pay for it and Nintendo maybe isn't willing to pay for it. So
Right.
it means something, but it also doesn't mean something.
It just depends in this way. If it releases on Xbox only, that means that Xbox played for the exclusivity. Like if they do like Xbox Game
Yep.
Pass or something like that.
Hmm.
At the same time, if they chose to release the other systems, they that is just a choice by them. Now keep
Yep.
in mind that the reason why I think gotta be some kind of exclusivity with Persona mainline is because of there's like when they release anything on any console, they have to pay a cut to the console they're releasing it on. For example, I believe um, Switch, Nintendo, and Xbox have like a 30% pay cut that you have to do to them for like a digital release or something like that. So it just depends on what direction they go.
Yep.
If they pay some money, it's all about the money, man. It's not that they don't want to do it. I feel like it's just about money.
Hmm. Absolutely. We missed a $2 super chat a while ago from Brendan. Sorry about that, dude. I really appreciate the support. I completely missed it. I'm super sorry if you're still here, Brendan. The comment was Persona 2 Eternal Punishment port, please. Yeah, 100%. Innocent
100%.
Sin and Eternal Punishment, just straight ports or very minor remasters. That'd be so cool. I'd be down for that.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I would like to see some remaster improvements. I think so. If they went back, for example, to the combat on Persona 1, maybe a little bit. I don't know.
Hmm.
There's some things that I'll be like, if they do a remaster, I would like to see some changes, but not a whole lot. That they just changes the whole game or something. Not a whole remake, but some stuff. Then I'll be down for that.
Yeah.
I will definitely pay $50 for that. I feel like if you did a combo with both games for $50, I will
Yeah.
be down for that.
Oh, same. Thank you so much for the support, Brendan. The next question came from TOR Tor Story. Given the reports of P Studio hiring people specializing in the Unreal Engine, which is easier to work with and is being used for SMT5, how soon do you think we will get Persona 6? That's assuming that Persona 6 is going to be on Unreal Engine. That might just be Refantasy, though, for the hires. So
Well, P Studio is not working on Re Fantasy. That's Studio Zero. They
it
gave
is,
the
yeah.
boot
Yeah, it
to
is Studio Zero.
Studio.
There's a lot of people from
Yeah.
from the Persona team. That's what I meant. But yeah, you're right. So, but I think we'll see Persona 6 sooner than most people think. Personally, I think we see
I
Persona
give
6
it.
this.
I'll say this. This is the wild speculation. They could drop an announcement this year because of the 25th anniversary,
Yeah.
but the game is not gonna probably release until like 2023 or something like that.
Yep. I can see that. So I can see an announcement this year or next year for Persona 6 for sure. I think this year because of the 25th anniversary. I think we get a concert like kind of soon and we'll get Persona 6. A very small teaser though, but I think we see it.
Yeah, I want to see chairs, but in blue.
Yeah. Next question is from Silent Mochi or Moki. This is a question because I know this will never happen, but for fun. Do y'all think they'd ever give an English dub to the Persona 4 Golden anime? I didn't watch it, but I heard only bad things, so I hope not.
The original Persona 4 anime was pretty good. The Persona 5. No, Persona 4, right? That's the question on
Golden.
Persona 4.
He said golden. Like, yeah.
Golden? Oh, no.
Four
Forget
animation
about
was great, but golden was pretty bad.
it.
from
Forget
what I
about
heard.
it.
Yeah.
Will they? Yes, probably not. There's no reason for them to do that. It's just money that they have to spend. And there's no reason for them to do it unless there's something involving with Persona 4. Like, is there like a Persona Q3 or another spin-off bringing Persona 4 cast? I can see it maybe doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Next
It
question
just
would be.
depends.
Oh yeah, for sure. Next question would be from Stephen R. You think Atlus will port SMT4 and Apocalypse to Switch? It would be kind of weird if Switch gets 3 and 5, but not 4. I would really like that. It would require some important work though, so I don't know how likely it is. That would be so cool though. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with you. Pretty cool.
That'd be so cool. Um, Scrolling down, seeing if we have other questions. Another question from Silent Moki. How come Persona 4 Arena was able to be on Xbox while none of the other games were? Just curious. I think that's
Again,
what we're seeing again right now with Strikers. They're putting spin-offs on multiple systems. They're experimenting, but not mainline. I think
it
that's...
also may have something to do with the engine that is on. The engine that is used for the Persona Arena games is the same engine for all the other
Arc
games for
system
Arc
works.
systems.
Yeah,
And Arc System Works always publishes
on
in all the
Xbox.
different systems on
Yeah.
Xbox, and PC, and everything. Not PC, I'm sorry, PS4 and Switch and everything else. So I'm not surprised about it. I'm more surprised about people are still expecting more Persona games on Xbox, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't surprise me the fact that they released those games. Again, remember this: the games were made by Arc Systems, not Atlus. Atlus had really, other than maybe the story aspect of them, they really didn't make the game.
Oh yeah,
Same
they
thing with
supervised
Strikers.
the project, but that's all.
Same thing with Strikers. If you
Yep.
look at like the list of people that made the game, it's like 80%
Koei Tecmo,
Koei
Omega
Tecmo
Force.
doing the game. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So don't think about it like that. People just think about Atlas and think about like, oh, they're doing this. Like, think about it from a developer perspective, not a publishing perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely. Next question would be from Demi Crow. If SMT5 releases in 2021 and it's glitchy and buggy, would you wished it got delayed to 2022? Yeah. If it's buggy, I don't really think it's gonna be though, so I'm not too worried.
Honestly, there is a zero bad track record when it comes to Shin Megami Tensei
Yep.
games being buggy. So there is nothing in my mind worried about the game being buggy or anything like that.
Yep. Absolutely. Agreed. Next question would be, where can you legally watch the P4 animation? I can't find it anywhere. You can buy the Blu-rays or the DVDs, and it's on Funimations, I
Crunchyroll.
think.
Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Hey, we have a $1 super chat from the man himself, Matthew, the Holy God. Thank you so much for the support, Matthew. I really appreciate that. As always. No comment. So thanks for the support, Matthew. Thanks for the support. Next question would be from Kid. Would SMT5 will have P5S battle mechanic instead of press turn? Oh, definitely not. They're gonna keep it traditional.
No, 100%. If they did it, the internet will be on fire.
It would be,
Like,
but I don't think
I
so.
don't
Yeah.
expect them to do it at all.
Nah, same.
Especially because how traditional the team is.
Yep.
Like, I'm sure the people that is asking is having played Shin Megami Tensei 1 and 2, but Shin Megami Tensei 1 and 2 retain so much. I'm sorry, Nocturne and SMT4 retain so much of 1 and 2.
Yes.
It's not even funny how much they retain. Like, you think the games evolved, but they, other than the visuals, the gameplay is like
It's
so
similar. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even like to be honest, Persona has evolved much more than the Shin Megami Tensei mainline series have evolved over time.
Yep.
In a gameplay perspective, sure, visuals you can say something else, but when it comes to the gameplay aspect, it's still really similar. It hasn't evolved much at all.
Yep. Absolutely. Hey, Mako Tensei saying, yo, Scott the Waz made a video about Jack Bros. I did receive the notification, Scott the Waz video about Virtual Boy, so we'll have to watch that once we're done. But
Who's that?
Scott the Waz.
Everybody keep telling you about this guy.
Dude,
I don't
check him
know
out.
why.
He's super entertaining and super funny. Like, he's one of the rare YouTubers that he can do a video about a subject that I don't care about, and I'll still watch it because he's super entertaining. So,
People keep telling me about him. I'll have to check him out.
yep, you should, man. All right. Oh boy, we still have a lot of questions. I don't want us to keep going for too long, so I'll take the next 5 questions, okay? So, sorry about that, guys, but I just want to make sure that we're able to wrap things up soon. You've been awesome with the questions, though. Thank you so much. So first question is from Silent Moki. Oh man, speaking of Q, do you think they might remaster Persona Q 1 and 2 on Switch? I really don't think so. I think we have
No.
a higher chance of seeing SMT 4 and 4 Apocalypse on Switch. Even those are not that likely, though.
Yeah, so what I think is we're more likely to see Persona Q3 on Switch
Yes.
than getting a remaster for 1 and 2. But we're also as likely as that to see SMT4 on it. It's just the engine. I don't know if the engine provides for it. I don't know what they have to do to remake the games in like that kind of setting. The Switch being only one screen is one of the many things they have to worry about with the Switch being like a
Exactly.
it will really require a whole remake thing, and even then it doesn't really work right. Like I recently played The World Ends With You on the Switch, and it wasn't right. Like it didn't play that
Oh,
good.
the
So like,
controls I heard are terrible for this
yeah,
one, yeah.
they are terrible. So like that made me wary of like wanting more 3DS games on the Switch.
Fair, fair. Next question would be from Atniel. Do you guys think Philemon stopped appearing in P3 onwards because they wanted to leave behind the story surrounding him? I don't think so. They just kind of went in another direction, in my opinion.
Right, I agree with you. After Persona 3, the games have gone to a completely different direction, and I honestly like I know a lot of people mention him a lot, but I personally would like them if they just move on into a different thing.
Yep.
I would like, for example, I know I'm gonna catch some heat for this, but I want Shin Megami Tensei to move away from the Judeo-Christian things. Like I had enough of Satan or of Lucifer as like a major villain of the
That's
game.
fair.
I'm kind of like I really want to see something. He's been on the previous games so much that I just want to see like a completely different religion or like a different belief system or something like that. There's like a lot of different stuff they can do, but especially like SMT3 and 4 really relied on like the angels and God and Lucifer that I just want to see something else. But seeing the trailer for Shin Megami Tensei 5, seeing Lucifer like show up like right in the beginning of the game, I was kind of like, oh man.
Yeah. I love it so much that I don't really care, but hearing you talk about them going in another direction feels good too. So we'll see what they do.
Yeah, like, and it'll be even cooler if they did like the God of War approach. That yeah, they it starts in like the Judeo-Christian religion, but it moves on into like some other crazy religion. Like it will be crazy to kind of like see the shockwave of like different gods and religions put together. Because that's already kind of like what they go for in Shin Megami Tensei timeline, like if you want to say it, where they kind of merge all the different demons from different religions and gods and everything like, put together, but really clashing the belief and like the system that they have set up into another different religion and kind of clashing it together. Remember, at the beginning of SNT5, they do have like this there is no god in this world kind of thing.
Yep.
So if they had like all these different gods from different universes or different religions kind of going at it together, like not just have chaos and neutral and law, but have all these different belief systems like clash with each other. I'll be down for that. That'll be a way more interesting concept than just that.
Yep. 100%. The next question was from Sigzap. Sorry about my pronunciation. Do you think they'll put both assets from P3P and FES if P3 for PC ever becomes a thing? We talked about that too. What we think is going to happen is it's going to be P3 FES on Steam with the party controls from Portable. We think that's going to be it.
The assets, the problem is that there are no assets. You know, that's the problem for Persona 3 Portable. There is only so much they can take from Persona 3 Portable.
Yep,
If
good
they
point.
wanted to add the Persona 3 Portable aspects to FES, they have to remake a ton of new stuff. The assets don't really work together that well because Persona 3 Portable only has still images. Like when all the cutscenes, quote unquote cutscenes, are not really there, so they have to have a whole animation team for those scenes. They have to have a whole team to create assets for things that don't really exist. So no, I don't really think that will work at all.
Yep, agreed. And our final question of the day is from some dude. Do you think Atlus will ever try to get into the MMO space with something like SMT9 again? With Sega being cool with Microsoft with PSO2, Fantasy Star Online 2, it'd be dope if they can make it happen.
Well,
If they do it, I wish they would go in another
it
direction than
really
9 though.
it really depends if they end up doing Code X a name
Oh,
as their attempt into it. Just think about it. We literally just talked about it earlier on.
yeah.
But this could very well be their new attempt into doing something like that. So it just depends on what direction they take it.
Yeah, yeah. Would have to see, but I don't think it's very likely, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility either. So, all right, so we're gonna wrap things up tonight. I think we covered all the good subjects that I wanted to talk about. It's been a lot of fun to talk about the recent news with you, dude. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you so much for having me here. It was so much fun to talk about all this stuff. There's so much to talk about. It's already
Yeah,
been like over 2 hours, so
yeah, exactly. There's a lot to talk about. We're big fans, so we have a lot to say too. So it's been great, guys. Thank you so much for the support tonight. Don't forget to check my man Kuro, the Midnight Channel, channel in the description. The link is there. Check him out. He's great. Love the content. And again, big thank you from both of us for the support tonight. You guys have been awesome, and I will 100% do more news roundup podcasts because you guys seem to like it, and I certainly did. So hopefully you can join me later in the future for that, dude.
yeah. Thanks, guys. It was really fun to have you here.
I see you next time, guys. Take care, and again, thank you for the support. Love y'all. Bye.